Hey, welcome back, everyone. It is Wednesday, December 21st, and we're back. I think we've got some exciting earnings discussion to talk about and just general stuff to talk about. So let me invite everyone up here, and then I'll open up the floor. Maybe I'll start with you, Sir Hunsastock, if you want to kick things off. But no pressure.
Morning, everyone. If anybody followed my play, hopefully you weren't greedy on FedEx and you took profits before market closed yesterday, because those earnings came out and they apparently beat earnings. So it's a little surprised, but I closed out the majority of my positions. I still had a 165 put expiring Friday. That's probably not going to be worth anything today. But before close, it dipped down to about $1.62 and change.
So give us the highlights on the FedEx earnings. What actually took place? Or let me pull up the filing here. Sorry, we won't talk about.
So they expected $2.83 on the earnings, and it came in at $3.18. So, I mean, and they also, I mean, they dropped their profit drop too, even after they laid off a shitload of employees, which is, I mean, I just don't see how it rocketed as much as it did. I don't think forward projections are going to be as promising as the market's kind of making it out to be right now.
Is that just because they're going to need to pay out severance and whatnot, or they're
somewhat? But I mean, it's also the fact that, I mean, the demand is come down significantly in the transportation market. So the amount of revenue they're generating is a lot less than what probably people were hoping for. I doubt expecting. I just think that the amount that was priced in, I just think it went a little parabolic there after hours.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, you may get some tax loss selling into strength here, so that may cause some downward pressure.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. Any play for, the post earnings?
I'm still looking at shorts over the next, probably, I'd say 3 to 6 months. I'm gonna wait and see where it kind of lands and where it holds firm price wise. I don't think it's gonna, if it goes into the 200 range, that would be very surprising to me. I think it'll probably hover around 175, 180 for a while.
Yeah, speaking of tax loss harvesting, I'm pretty sure that's what happened to one of the stocks I'm into, ticker's TELL. Yesterday it gained 10%, but the day before it was down over 25%. So luckily it climbed back a bit yesterday, so all I need is another 150% to get back to in the money.
I'm anticipating Carnival Cruise Line's earnings later on this morning. I have some plays. I got some calls on Norwegian. I picked them up way too early last week, Friday. Should have waited until Monday. Would have got a lot better price, but anticipating these cruise lines to report their Black Friday record-breaking bookings, and hopefully it just trickles over to all the companies in the industry. So we'll see how it plays out today.
Very nice, but damn, like a lot of people, I'm just hearing a lot of rough trades. Is this just the end of the year messing with everybody, or are there some winning trades out there?
Oh, my puts were wins for sure. I just made sure I closed before earnings.
Oh, right on.
I held that 165. I only held one of the 165 puts that I had through earnings. So, I mean, other than that, I closed all the 175s and the remainder of the 165s. I just wanted to kind of, roll the dice, have a little gamble.
Yeah, I closed out Tesla 150 puts last week. Just didn't want to get too greedy and just never know. And then closed out some Carvana puts last week also, but nothing too exciting.
Speaking of Tesla, it's up in pre-market trading to 140.50 last I checked. You guys think the bleeding will stop today and we'll get a green day in Tesla or no?
Well, I think the news was he agreed to step down from Twitter
Yeah, once they
CEO.
find somebody to replace him.
Also, some news about layoffs. They're doing some layoffs.
Yeah, I saw the layoff news.
Do you know how big the number is for the layoffs?
It wasn't announced by the company. I think it could be helpful, honestly, if it improves their cost.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if it's a meaningful number, that should be quite bullish for the stock.
It'd be short-term bullish, long-term bearish.
It doesn't specify, just Tesla freeze hiring, layoff. Yeah.
But they announced just yesterday that they're moving a factory into Turkey and stuff. So seems like they're growing still.
Seems like their semi work is starting to gain a little bit momentum, but yeah, we'll see. I'm not playing anything on Tesla. I don't own Tesla, but thanks for the puts, Elon.
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting saga. And what was also interesting is that after their poll, they were doing this interview on maybe Twitter Spaces, somewhere else maybe. But they had on Kathy Woods and everything. And as they were talking, Elon Musk and his rich buddies, talking about crypto, it was interesting watching the crypto fluctuations over the past day or two, or while they were talking. So I was wondering, do you guys think anything's going to come out of for Dogecoin, given that Elon Musk is no longer with Twitter? Kind of a weird question, I know.
Well, the news is apparently he's gonna stay focused on the technology side of things. He's gonna run the server team and the some other part. So that might be him trying to just focus on getting Doge implemented.
Ooh, putting on my tinfoil hat for that one. I mean, yeah, why
totally.
not? That would be the department, right?
Yeah, I mean, total speculation on my part. Sorry.
Well, or is that just the department where they have the most costs, and that's what he wants to control, right? Headcount and everything for software and services seems to be where things cost money. So he's trying to turn the
from a macro perspective, Twitter itself is a great use case for crypto or something like a cryptocurrency where it's internal to the network, where you can pay or you can support certain creators through crypto, and you can take obviously percentage of those transactions as the house. It would be a very interesting use case for the potential use of a crypto.
Yeah, and I mean, Twitter needs to be the application itself, or the functionality of the application itself, has kind of stagnated since the initial release of Twitter. There's not really new stuff, new functionality inside of it. And if Twitter is going to triple in value, then they're going to have to add some new functionality into it, including some type of a payment system and possibly some type of encrypted messaging a la WhatsApp, or possibly even adding video or doing more TikTok type stuff on Twitter. So
what was that function on Twitter? I mean, that was disabled, where you could do live videos and stuff like that.
Oh, Periscope?
Yeah, so I read that Twitter's really been throwing a lot of their engineers and redeveloping Periscope. I guess it's within Twitter. They said I don't do Twitter, never have, but they said that it was a function in Twitter many years ago, but they're trying to revamp that and start using it as a Twitter. But I'm not too sure.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, let's take this conversation back to markets and say then, is there any belief that social media companies are still something that are worth trading or worth investing in? And I know it's a little weird to say that because like right now, because the holiday season is approaching, and so probably the bigger topic is like e-commerce or brick and mortar, but social media plays a role. Yeah.
It depends. I mean, there's like this big elephant in the room that no one's talking about, like the whole influence of government organizations like the FBI, the CIA, in social media. I mean, they were outed in Twitter, but they also have influence in Facebook and a lot of the other ones. And it's like, for some, like if the media is not focusing on that, and you'd think that in a country like the United States, there'd be more focus on the fact that, hey, you've got government, laying their thumb on these social media companies, and how is that going to shake out? Like, I'm surprised there hasn't been more discussion about it in the media. Instead, the media is focusing on Elon Musk as opposed to sort of the bigger issue in the room. So I think it kind of depends on how that shakes out.
Yeah,
I mean,
because like especially after you had all that fallout, when you had the Edward Snowden, hey, the NSA is listening to all your phone calls, and yeah, the fact that no one's really saying anything about all these new Twitter files is kind of surprising.
From a trade perspective, though, I mean, if you caught, I mean, like example, Meta. I mean, if you, there's obviously buying behind Meta. Like, there's still people that believe in that company. I mean, it dropped down below 80 or or 90 on that big drop. I mean, it's come all the way back up to 130 or 113. So I mean, you've got a ton of buying coming in to companies like Meta. I mean, that would have been a damn good trade if you swung it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hate to interrupt, but we've got Simple Vice in the house.
Somebody mentioned Meta. I have been summoned.
Okay, Beetlejuice, tell us something.
Tell us something we don't already know.
Who's a Beetlejuice?
Wow, that's sad.
I'm a Beetlejuice.
How about that FTC hearing? Anything possibly going to come of that?
Yeah, I saw that. Nah, it's same old shit every year.
Well, that's the only reaction I've seen to the release of the Twitter documents. Like it's another, it's like another government organization. They're like trying to rein Twitter in. They're trying to rein Elon Musk and Twitter in instead of him sort of being transparent with what's going on with the government involvement in social media. Again, like, I mean, honestly, as I'm really surprised that Americans they just don't give a shit. Honestly,
Do you think that the government wants to say, "Hey, we're involved in social media"?
They've already that's already been publicized that they are.
Well, I appreciate you letting me know.
They're already involved with Meta.
Involved in everything.
I gotta go into Flex Pack either today or tomorrow, so I'll pick them up. Just set them. You can give them to Kelly and say, "Hey, Matt's gonna come pick these up."
If they were involved in suppressing information about the president's son and other things at Twitter, then you can rest assured that they were also involved in doing the same thing with Facebook and LinkedIn and some of these other sites. I mean, it's like Romania under Ceausescu type shit, where you got like Russia and China does this kind of stuff. This kind of stuff shouldn't be happening in the leading democracy in the world, where you've got government exercising this kind of influence on what is arguably the largest media. It goes beyond news. Like the Washington Post has reach within the United States, but Twitter and Facebook and these social media companies, they have global reach. And then if you've got the U.S. government that's sort of operating behind the scenes with these companies, to me that's of concern, because that shouldn't be the case.
Sorry.
Very well said.
This is my fault for bringing up Twitter, a private company. Should have kept things market related. But
I was waiting for you to jump in. This all got political very soon.
I wanted to let Human Genome, say his piece. But hey, look, Nike is up 11.5% on good earnings. And you know what? They have reached prices we haven't seen since last week. Incredible.
That is what I'm hoping for Carnival and Norwegian and Royal Caribbean. So we'll see if that happens. But yeah, I did see that Nike went straight up
When
Oh,
are
the
Carnival's earnings?
today.
the cruises are gonna have a record queue. I can tell you
Yeah,
that for sure. I'm in
yeah,
the
so
industry.
I picked up calls a little too early. I could have got them in a better price if I would have waited until Monday. But I picked up
But
calls. I picked up calls on Friday, and I'm just hoping that they print today with these earnings. But hearing that news about Nike going up 10%, and then now it's at 11, is that correct opinion?
Yeah, it's up 11.5.
So that's what I'm expecting with the Carnival.
what does that have to do with each other? Well, you didn't let me finish. So they're gonna have a record queue, but that doesn't mean the guidance is gonna be strong, and that doesn't mean the stock is gonna go up. Just like Airbnb.
Yeah, that's what I was going to comment. It's the guidance, right? Simple that
Yeah.
sometimes makes the biggest moves.
Just like with Airbnb, I called it. They had a record queue, but the guidance was weaker, and
Was that
I think it's gonna happen the same with the cruises.
Curious on Airbnb. I mean, are you buying that long term? Do you follow Airbnb?
No, I work with them. We work with their management, and I work in a company where we are preferred partner with all the big tourist companies, IT companies. So I have a few insights into the space.
Why did Airbnb reduce guidance though? I mean, I don't see anything potentially wrong with the travel market.
No, nothing is wrong. It's going strong. It's just that with the talks of the recession and everything going to shit, it's always better to have a lower guidance than.
Yeah, but we've been talking about recession forever.
Yeah.
Hell, I feel like I lived through one this year.
Yeah, but we're still in it, in my opinion, and we're still going for it.
I think it's like widespread knowledge at this point that people are not using Airbnb as much because people are sick of the cleaning fees
They're
and all that
using.
stuff, and
Don't say
hotels.
that. No.
hotels are.
That's your Imperator. That's your personal opinion. That's not facts. Check their fucking financials.
Well, no, I mean I'm talking about people who own Airbnb properties have been saying that their bookings are way down.
They're saying because there's millions of them. The people that are using Airbnb as renters, they're growing into. I forgot what was the percentage, but percentage was crazy, and everybody and their mother is renting. Airbnb is growing in every possible way, and few personal opinions doesn't change the fact that the company is going strong.
Down here in Florida, they just recently, like 2 days ago, passed a Florida legislation to protect homeowner associations from these rentals that are popping up. People are coming down here buying these houses, and then they're just putting Airbnb rentals in them, short-term rentals, and it's just becoming a big problem in Florida with specifically Airbnb, and it's such a big problem they had to create legislation.
Imagine notes. You're again 4 years behind Europe. I think even 10 in some cities. Europe passed that legislation long time ago in major metropolitan cities.
Oh,
I
it's neat.
booked
Yeah.
the Airbnb in Vermont way easier than trying to go through a hotel. I mean, yeah.
But so what does all this mean for Carnival Cruise Lines or the cruise lines? Because since Nike is related to cruise lines, Airbnb must also be related.
It's going to have a record queue, I'm telling you right now, and lower guidance. That's what's going to happen. But
I think it's gonna be opposite. I think they're gonna miss expected by just a little bit. I think they're expected a loss per share of like -85 or something, -87. So I think they're gonna hit right around there, but that's gonna look kind of bullish. And then their guidance, they're just gonna knock it out of the park. They're gonna get some people excited. They're gonna talk about all their parties on their ships, everybody buying all this fucking fake jewelry, and you know what I mean. Everyone's gonna get excited. You know, tits jacked, everything. You know what I mean. And it's probably going to go shoot up to about 1180. That's what I'm marking. That's what I have. 1110. I mean, around there, and then crash back down to like $9.
I don't have any.
All right, that's like a 37% increase.
Yeah, what?
Oh,
yeah, that's a huge retracement.
Yo, listen, it's coming.
Sorry, take your lunch money. Go ahead.
No, just saying that I have actual plays on Norwegian, not Carnival. I'm just trying to play off of Carnival's Q4 earnings and get people excited. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we got Simple Vice bullish on the earnings. We got Notes bearish, but then the opposite for earnings, for guidance. So anyone else want to join either side of that? And then we'll make fun of you tomorrow. Probably
I'm
both
not
sides.
touching that.
I'll join the side that says it could go up or it could go down.
What do you-
Oh, the hardy side.
Do you guys typically sell an earnings play like the day of earnings, or do you wait till expiration on Friday to see if we're having a Santa rally?
Sell it, Notes. Take your money. Take your 50%.
I take
It depends how
profit
much I'm down.
and
He's
say,
up 50%. Greedy cunt. I will add something to my opinion. Don't base your. I mean, I know this is such a corny thing to say, but don't base your buying of stocks on your personal opinion. Just look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie.
do you have
I
any
thought that for
particular
Tesla.
play?
So can you
Simple.
help me out with that?
I was gonna say the same for SNDL.
There was a lot of people talking there. Take your lunch. What did you say?
No, these other guys could go ahead.
I was just saying the numbers on Tesla are actually not too bad, and it's got beaten down just due to political reasons. So that would be my 2 cents. I don't think that inside investors are really concerned with Elon Musk. I think it's just a headline.
And again,
Huh?
that's an opinion. That's not numbers. So if Elon, he can get his Tesla shares liquidated, like it's a real possibility of that happening. It's not like it's political. No, it can actually fucking happen. So that's a concern. That's a major concern for Tesla. The German factory is not producing enough.
So you're assuming that. So you're assuming that Elon Musk is going to liquidate his stock now.
No. I'm not assuming anything. I'm just looking at the numbers. Same as the numbers that Tesla right now has the lowest backlog of vehicles ordered that it had in the last 10 years, 15 years. So when you read the 10K or 8K or whatever, there's always a segment of the company producing the negatives of the investments in them. I don't know. The last time I read it was with Meta. Read that shit. Every company's like they need to put that out. Read that, look between the lines, look at the numbers, and then decide. It's not always politics or feelings.
No, but you literally went on the record to say that that we need to look at the numbers will help indicate whether or not the stock is going to go up or down, and not have any opinions based on it. And I would argue the fact that Tesla, not on the numbers, because the earnings was quite some time ago, that it went down based on headlines, based on people's, I guess you would say, confidence in Elon running a separate company. And to say that Elon runs Tesla is quite rebukable at the end of the day, because he doesn't really run it; he just oversees it.
How much Tesla shares did Elon sell in the last 10 days?
But he did that last year too, and he did it the year before. It's a point in argument at the end of the day. He always gets rid of his stocks.
Not in this amount, and not at this exact moment. And he's been calling for a recession for a longest time now, didn't he? He said that everything is going to shit and that Tesla stocks are going to go down because of the Fed or whatever.
He also came out with the tweet yesterday, and I'm not trying to play contrarian or argue. I'm just pointing the facts out. He said, "Tesla stockholders, I won't let you down." So, kind of read between lines there.
I mean, Ryan Cohn said the same shit about Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah,
Whoever
I feel
believes Elon at this point, I don't know. Go ahead, do that.
Wait, are Tesla holders gonna get rickrolled?
Didn't they already?
I'll repeat what I said yesterday. If you're not growing, you're dying. Tesla's rate of growth has decreased. Their quality has decreased, not just for cars, but in other areas. Even in this economy, that last financial statement brought them down. And if your financial statement brings you down, and then you have negative news throughout that quarter, you're going to go down more. they're still at a very high price to equity or price to earnings ratio, which if we do go in further into a recession, votes very bad for them. I am seeing under $100 sale price by mid next year, but that would be my guess. But at the same time, again, Elon did what he did, but it was the financials that really made this downturn.
Yeah, and then we also discussed, a couple times on here, okay, about how like there's so many more competitors coming into the market now that it's a rough time to be a Tesla shareholder.
I'm curious, going back to the Carnival. So are you buying 30-day calls? How far out of the money calls are you buying?
I'm not buying anything for Carnival. I'm playing off of Carnival.
Norwegian. Yeah.
And
somebody said they were playing Carnival, I thought.
I'm playing off of Carnival's earnings. I went with Norwegian because their books are just look a lot better.
But I'm curious, what's your exact play on that?
So I went ahead and bought calls back on Friday at $15 strike price. Bought it way too early. I mean, Monday the market went down further, but $15 is still, a reasonable percentage change. I'm also in the process of like trying to learn a little bit more about the Greek, so I went ahead and bought a couple more options at higher strike price, just to see how the Greeks affect the option. So, anyways, my major plays, I'm holding 20 contracts, $15 strike price. They expire at the end of the week. I'm needing a big increase. My concern is that being that it's not Norwegian's earnings, they might not get as much limelight from all the Black Friday news that was kind of overshadowed by the retail Black Friday and all the news that happened with feds. But yeah, that's my play. $15 strike calls on Norwegian, playing off of Carnival Cruises. Good news about Black Friday's bookings. I need a pretty good percent bump, but going back to Nike having a 10% jump, those big jumps can happen. So we'll see what happens.
Hey, AI, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you watch anime?
No, I do not watch anime.
Well, I know that you live in Japan, because I know this is not exactly new news anymore. It's old news. NHK threatened to pull like all the anime content from Netflix due to the ad supported thing. I mean, has there been any like news just from Japan? Anything?
Yeah, but obviously that's kind of old news from November. But I would say that I pay for my Netflix, so I really don't have that. And I think most people pay for their Netflix here. I don't know this whole ad-free thing. I don't know anybody, excuse me, that doesn't pay for their Netflix and uses ad-free. And I think if you are using ad-free, you're not really watching Netflix anime as a Japanese. You're a foreigner, because most Japanese end up buying the DVDs and playing it in the DVD player. Yes, I said DVD.
All right. Yeah, thanks for clarifying that, because that's why I was trying to figure out how much of an impact Netflix loss could be from like the anime watchers.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if an American has a complaint about that, or I should say anywhere, I'm not just going to culturalize something. But I don't think, but yeah, NHK is allowed to do what they want with that, right? But we'll see how it comes about.
Oh, thanks. Oh, by the way, how's the sound quality?
It's perfect.
Oh, great. Yeah, I was using knockoff AirPods yesterday, so.
Right when you said that, oh great, it kind of came out a little.
Quick jump back to the Carnival play. I have $7 calls, $7 strike price calls expiring next week. I have 10 contracts on that, and they're already in the money. So I think, going back to that Carnival play real quick, I think they're gonna perform today. Their guidance is good. They set up, if you look at where they're projected to hit, it's right around where they actually hit last quarter. So I think we're going to have some good news.
When did you pick those options? Sorry. When did you pick up those options?
Where did I pick them up?
When?
Oh, I picked them up yesterday morning.
Oh, sweet, brother. Yeah, that's my only fuck up. I'm still learning and whatnot, but I just, I was like, man, Friday I was all like, that took a big hit. I can't go down too much further. And then so I picked up my options on Friday. But yeah, good waiting and to pick up some options at some good prices.
Yeah, just so yeah.
I don't know what everybody else's tactics are. I tend to either pick up my options on Monday. I tend to try not to pick them up on Friday. I don't know. Some people are different. Some people only pick them up on Friday. You just got to do what works for you, man.
Do you happen to know the delta offhand on that option for Carnival?
Let me check. I'll get back to you.
All right.
So I just read the Nike report and why it's up this much. So the whole selling point of it, I don't know, did you guys talk about it? Like, did anybody look at the numbers?
I expected it to be good just based on the e-commerce news, and then seeing that Black Friday was horrible.
Yeah,
I was like, e-commerce has to be
Simple, go ahead. We didn't look at the numbers
no
for
one
Nike
did a
yet.
deep
Okay.
dive.
Yeah. Okay. So the why it's surging 12% pre-market trading is really surprising, actually. So Nike's inventory fell by 3%. Total inventory units are down by double-digit percentage compared to the first quarter. That was a big concern for the investors. I think we even talked about this at the beginning of the year. They had too much excessive inventory in their warehouses, and they managed to get rid of them, a lot of them. The November is going to be strong. The Q4 is always the strongest earnings for Nike. Yeah, that's the reason why the stock went ballistic now. There are a couple of bad things also. The sale,
Take your lunch.
the sales in China fell by 10%, which is a good indication of China recession. The inventory still increased by 43%, which is kind of surprising.
Wait,
but
you
that
don't think
had
the
to be.
lockdown had more of a play to that? It's not a current environment, less than a future environment?
You're right. I was gonna say with the COVID lockdown also, but my mind went switched to
Hey
the
guys, should I
inventory.
eat a pancake right now? Should I eat a pancake?
So funny, so fucking funny.
He's talking. You're asking about a fucking pancake. Okay, go ahead.
No.
I think the guy keeps forgetting to mute his mic.
No, this is the new guy. He just jumped in. So yeah, you're right. It's because of the COVID lockdown and because of the. I always jump with the recession. That's my main
Yeah,
thing.
but
in
would
my
you say
head
that
every
isn't
time.
that kind of bullish? Like, they were only down 3% during basically a month and a half, almost half the quarter. China was locked down. They still only were down 3%. When that opens back up,
No, they're down 10% in China.
oh, I thought I heard
A
3%.
year. No, year over year. So it's a by year profit that they had. But yeah, they're getting rid of the inventory, and November is coming. That's why the Nike's up. I don't know how long this is gonna last, but yeah, that's the reason why.
What about they talk about currency? Did they talk about the softening dollar?
Oh, Nike. No, I don't think Nike has that much of an FTX exposure as other people do.
I don't think so. But I spoke yesterday on Nike that I was at one of their outlet stores recently looking to get a pair of shoes for my son, and literally everything other than their baseline, what they always have in stock, is gone. They have sold out of everything. So they're selling. Like, the numbers are showing are the facts, really. There's nothing left.
Yeah, the earnings are great. They're really looking great. Everything is a beat. It really is.
But Simple, what's your play on Tesla? I know I'm like poking the bear here, poking the bull here.
No, no poking. No poking. Nobody's sensitive here. I have no play. I have no horse in the game. I really don't. I'm not like, okay. So here's the thing that I talked with Luz and with some other boys from the industry the other day. The only thing that I'm buying right now is the thing that I'm comfortable in holding for a year. Okay. I should maybe phrase it differently. So the only thing that I'm buying right now.
That makes absolute sense. Yeah, because we're about to head into a recession. So I see what you're saying.
The things that I believe in, the things that I use, that's what I'm buying right now. When somebody, I'm still a big bull on Meta. For really, honestly, for me, the price doesn't matter. I would like it for it to go to 90. I swear to God.
I
So
was going to say, do you think that before the year's out, we're going to get below, we're going to get into the 80, 90 range?
I wanted to. I'm gonna get a big bonus at work, and I wanted to. So WhatsApp broke the world record in messages during the World Cup. There was 25 million messages per second exchange during the finals.
How does Meta make money off of WhatsApp though?
They don't. Okay. It's not that they don't. It's they don't tell us. What Zuck's play and the biggest expenditure that they had was with the AI for advertisement, and something tells me that it's also connected with WhatsApp also, because you can stop Meta from using the data of the users in the EU and on Apple, but if they're using WhatsApp, I don't think anything is going to stop them. That's just pure guessing. Don't take me for a word. I'm just it's bullshit.
Can we go back to the?
But yeah, I'm buying what I believe in.
25 million.
25 million messages per second.
That makes me wonder who their back-end services are. Like
it's them. It's them. So for the last year, Meta has been building huge servers.
They built all their own infrastructure, man. That's where all the money went.
Yeah.
Well, shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we talked about this when they had that huge earnings dip. When they reported that they had Simple will back this, when they reported they essentially spent all of their liquid assets.
Yeah, they did.
That was them building data centers and servers and hubs so that they could do all this without having a third party.
Is that all? Is that all to support the stupid VR space?
Who knows? No, maybe yes, maybe no.
Yeah, I mean, like it's half and half, I think, right? Like, yes, they're using it for the metaverse, but also you can already see the results in that server usage.
Sorry to interrupt you, but the only thing that we know is what they said. So back in March, they said we're building a data center for metaverse that was 1 billion, but then back in May or June, I don't remember exactly, they said that for the last I don't know. Wait, let me try finding this. So they're building data centers for AI infrastructure, and they built just the 3 of them. They spent like $1 billion on cloud campus in the last like Q3, I think it was. So they're building, building. Yeah.
And those data centers are doing exactly what we just saw during the World Cup. Those 25 million messages a second, that's what those AI data centers are for. They're for advertisements. They're for getting ads out through Facebook, and they're not focusing those on the VR. The VR will come later,
I think somebody I think it was Scald. Scald lives, I think, in Utah, and he said that they're building a huge Meta data center next to him. Yeah. Like 300 acre.
Okay. So if I'm building a new building and I'm a corporation, I still have to license my software. If I have workstations, they're probably going to be Windows workstations. If I have servers, it's a toss-up if it's Linux or Windows. They're probably using Linux. End of the day, if the cost is $1 billion, at least a quarter of that is going to other companies. And we probably haven't seen the adjustments of that money being passed out if there's going to be an adjustment. So if there's a little bit of digging that you can do to pull out some company names that are going to get licenses or are selling server racks and stuff like that to these builds, you'll make some money there.
No, $1 billion is only
But they're not
one
going to be using
project
they're
in
going to be using
Arizona.
big companies. You know, like you said, Linux. Like I guarantee you, they're not partnering with Microsoft. You know what I mean? So you're right. Like absolutely, they're using Linux operating systems. Probably they're probably working with startups or smaller companies that aren't going to give them any trouble.
So they didn't only spend $1 billion. They spent a lot more. $1 billion was only one center in Arizona. The capex hit 5.5 billion for data centers and offices, and you know how much offices cost compared to data centers.
Yeah, there's like
So one near me, I can go ahead and clarify. The one near me is basically at completion. Walls are up, massive diesel storage tanks are here, likely for diesel failovers and battery backups. You know, for those of you that know a lot about data center construction, none of what I'm saying should surprise you. What I have heard, though, is there was a site in Colorado that was slated to have a metadata center, and someone who lives near that site told me that though they broke ground, they've paused all construction on it. So I think that's interesting. But again, that was a project that was much earlier in its stages. Like they had just broke ground on it a few weeks ago. And so obviously they're paring back these capital expenses a little bit if they're delaying construction on a few of these data centers, which is probably smart given the current economic environment. The one near me, walls are up. I mean, it's functional basically. So, it was interesting to hear that the Colorado site is on pause, and I think it's a smart move from Meta.
I just found the number. So this year, the expected on capex is going to be 30 billion, including AI servers and data centers.
That's
so yeah.
When's that completed?
I believe that.
When's that completed, or is it already completed?
The one near me still has a few construction vehicles at it, but it looks like they're doing interior work now. I see a lot of people from Superior Group. They're industrial electricians, so they're likely wiring up the actual data center itself at this point, just based on what I know about the businesses in this area and the types of vehicles that I'm seeing out front.
Do you know anybody that's actually going to be working in that facility?
I do. I can contact them and see if I can get some friendly stories.
Yeah, see if you can pull out company names of like what they're implementing, because it'll be uniform, right? Whatever they're putting there, they're going to put everywhere else. And so since we're out, it's hard to say. I would say since we're right at the point of completion at least your project and probably a couple of other projects coming down the line, then they've probably already paid all these bills and it's already probably all priced in, but we could possibly,
2023 there's going to be 40 billion of capex so yeah,
we need company names, man, because there's going to be some companies that go up considerably because of all this. It's a lot of money.
I think we spoke enough about Meta.
Yeah.
I'm playing commodities, trying to pick up as many as I can going into 2023.
Any in particular, or are you just doing like a Rio Tinto, BHP diversified miners?
I'm just really diversifying. I'm still learning a lot, but yeah. So I see commodities going up, which China's reopening and them being one of the biggest consumers, and just still doing a lot of research. That's why I'm kind of bringing up the topic, see if anyone has any helpful insight.
Well,
is there any evidence China's actually reopening? I mean, we've heard them say it, but is there any actual economic data that shows that they're reopening? Because I haven't seen that yet.
Do we have smog ratings above Hong Kong?
Yeah, have they started using those cannons to blow away the exhaust yet?
Well, remember Chinese New Year is coming up, so there's going to be a lot of travels, and most likely the countryside workers are going home, or I don't know what they're doing, but
Yeah.
they're probably not going to go to work.
Yeah, so I can tell you that one of the factories that we work with, it's actually taking 2 months off for China New Year's. So that is much longer than normal. Their demand has dropped enough to where they can take 2 months off, which is kind of just interesting. I can't speak to all other factories, but that's in the acrylic space.
So Nintendo was fun. It went down to 1017 yesterday or something like that. And my hefty little investment took a shit. But this morning it looks like it's back up to 1040. I don't know what the fuck, but that happened.
Long-term investment on the Nintendo.
Yeah, I'm holding. But shit like that scares me.
Yeah. That's okay. Just shit yourself like the rest of us and sit in it, and then it'll get better.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Anybody pay attention to the AST partnership? I think that was talked about a couple weeks ago. ASTS.
I haven't heard ASTS. I've been missing lately though.
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Last time we heard that, Satellite Man was off in space with his satellite plan.
Yeah. Well, they just signed a partnership with AT&T. It came out last night. They're only up 3% though, pre-market. So I don't know if it's going to move the market or not.
Is that bullish for AT&T or is that bearish?
Well, it's bullish for ASTS.
Yeah, it's bullish for the partnering company. I don't know if AT&T will really move either which way.
What's the partnership achieve?
I think just the deployment of. I'm not familiar with ASTS. I just remember people talking about it at one point. I think they do like low orbit satellites or something. And I'm not 100% sure.
If I remember Satellite Man, and I'm just speaking from what I remember Satellite Man, the premise was when you don't have satellite or you don't have like cell coverage, the satellites kick in so that you can still make a call. So in theory, the lost city of Atlantis could get coverage through satellite plan. And that's ASTS's ultimate setup.
So
yeah, part of the major thing with that is that they're saying that emergency calls, normally you don't need a phone plan to call 911, for example. But what this does is if you're out in the fucking desert and you need to call 911, this satellite will connect your call.
So as a note, T-Mobile has partnered with SpaceX. This is through the article to boost its coverage.
Been doing this.
Yeah, and then Verizon has partnered with a company Amazon called Project Coupier. I don't know, and now AT&T is using ASTS. So it just kind of puts you on the same playing level as some of the big boys, which is kind of interesting.
So what it actually sounds like is AT&T is late to the party.
I would agree.
Yeah, Verizon and T-Mobile have already been there.
It's pretty normal.
But it also gives legitimacy.
Yeah, it's pretty normal.
It does give legitimacy to ASTS if
Yes.
AT&T's picking them. That's not like a nobody company, It's
No,
not like,
correct.
So pre-pandemic, actually pre-SpaceX, low orbital satellites are actually those companies are very unprofitable. I don't know with the emergence of like cheaper rockets, are they like having a much better operational margin than they did? I don't know if anybody knows the answer for this.
I think you're underestimating these companies' abilities to send ads to you while you're dying in the desert.
Need water? Question mark.
Yeah,
While you wait.
They'll fucking do it.
While you wait. Have you heard of McDonald's?
Well, taking a look at one of the companies that I had traded before, Astra Space, they are down 94.8% on the year. So these are one of these budget rocket makers that was competing with Rocket Labs. Man, they are beat to hell. So not a lot of people are buying the budget rockets these days, it seems.
I guess not.
Going back to the ATS plan, maybe they'll do it where you can get a bottle of Fuji water sent to you for $300, just airdropped from the sky.
So
Yeah, they'll do a
It'll
halo
be
drop of a crate of water.
from an Amazon drone. It'll be from an Amazon.
So interesting thing about AT&T is that they do own FirstNet, and that's like the priority service for first responders. So I'm curious how that's going to play out for AT&T and FirstNet, because currently I have FirstNet myself. So
What the
they
fuck did you guys do to Carnival?
Let's take a step back. Let's walk away from whatever the fuck that was and go back to the first responders thing. I didn't think about that, but you're right. This isn't necessarily the guy that's dying in the desert. This is the firefighter that's putting out the wildfire in the middle of fucking nowhere because it's on the way to the city.
Right, and not only that, actually, they do have some FirstNet presence on oil rigs, I believe. And then also in like very far remote regions where FirstNet is still having coverage issues because the cellular services are really bad, like Delaware.
All right, that was really insightful. I appreciate it.
Delaware, that's not a state.
Hey, that's where Joe Biden lives, bro. Actually, he lives right across from the Delaware's Wegmans if you want to pay him a visit.
No, that's where Biden crashes his bike.
Yeah. Plays, boys. 7 minutes.
Well, got some plays coming up to the end of the week. Anybody that want to play scalps options, they have been pretty good if you do like 3 ticks on a minute candle. Those of you that like to play and stare at charts all day, they have been pretty good because they've been staying faithful to the Bollinger Bands.
What's a good cheap country to travel to during the winter times? Any suggestions?
Mexico.
Vietnam.
All day.
Honduras.
Yeah, Cancun, buddy.
El Salvador.
Venezuela.
Peru. Go to
Why
the
would anyone
Philippines.
want to go
That's
to
not
Venezuela
far.
right now?
Colombia, if you're looking to party.
Ask for a cheap one.
Yeah.
French Guiana.
Costa Rica's pretty nice, I must say.
I heard Argentina's good at kicking balls.
Northern South Americas or the Caribbean. That's probably bet.
Uganda's pretty good at this time of the year.
Uganda? This
Okay,
is not
somewhere I
travel
won't-
advice.
Uganda?
Hey, don't hate. There are some beautiful spots throughout Africa.
Yeah, it's actually very cheap
Yeah.
to travel there. You can get a lot of food for like very little money still.
All right, so basically Spain or Costa Rica.
You know, North Korea is not far from you in Japan, and I heard it's absolutely lovely in budget.
Costa Rica is really nice. I'd recommend the Arenal region if you want to experience the wilds. It's a rainforest and has volcanoes in it. And if you want to live more of that resort life, I recommend Jaco, Jaco. It's right there by the Pacific Ocean. There's a beautiful Marriott Signature Collection hotel stay in there.
So am I hearing
Also, you
some
can't
bullish
go
sentiment on travel stocks?
Oh yeah, the cruise to get there.
The thing
Hey,
about the trip to North Korea is that it's more of an adventure because you can't get caught.
If you're looking for an exciting getaway, I heard the demilitarized zone is lovely this time of year.
Nothing like an adventure.
Ukraine.
Don't go to North
Listen.
Korea.
Just let them know you're from Japan. I heard they'll be very friendly.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think South Korea was good enough for me. It was nice, and the food was good. I don't think I'm gonna get any different in North Korea, personally. Maybe just cheaper food and cheaper quality.
And more communism.
so speaking of calls on travel, you guys know about Sabre, like that, like outdated travel software for like travel agents to use to book shit. SABR is the ticker.
The office.
So looking at our comments here, we have someone. Let's see if I can get back to the comment. Wally50H. Here's a play for you. Long-term bearish on DKNG DraftKings. However, based on technicals and how the stock moves when the market has a recovery, he's playing December 30 call debit spreads. 12.50 buy, 14.50 sell for 25 cents per spread.
What was that spread again?
Hey,
Call debit spreads.
Yeah, what was the spread? So I didn't hear the two numbers.
12.50 buy, 14.50 sell.
So 200 for 25. So you're looking okay. Thanks.
Breaking news, folks. Looks like Sam Bankman-Fried is on a plane with a bunch of FBI agents back to the United States of America to face the long dick of the law.
More like to accidentally choke on a chicken bone.
I hear that plane is starting to have some technical problems and mechanical problems.
Actually vanished. Bermuda Triangle, guys. Come on.
Both engines failed.
hey,
He never made it
hold
back.
off on those Carnival plays. They pre-market they just dropped 6%.
Yeah, the report doesn't come out though until 10 Eastern time, right?
Yeah, correct. But it's just I don't know, something happened pre-market.
Being a pessimist, just hold out.
All right, less than a minute till market open. What do we got?
No, they I think they reported early, boys. I think they already reported.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, they
Damn.
reported a quarterly loss of 85 cents per share, which beat by 2.3%. Quarterly sales of 3.84 billion, which missed the analysts of 3.91. So they beat on earnings, missed on revenue.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody
Not
think
necessarily
there's anything to
bad.
come off of the Zelensky news?
Test market.
Is it coming to Congress to like test?
Oh,
it
and
or
there it
something?
goes. Fuck. How's the
That's
carnival? Norwegian just jumped a little bit. Trying to. Anyone playing Nike?
What would the play even be? I mean, earnings are out, so just looking for a reversal or something, or
He's just trying to catch that IV crush.
Well,
Guys, are you looking at Apple right now?
oh wow, it's up 1%. Wait, what? No, I'm actually curious. What about Apple? I'm looking at it. Oh no, now it's flat.
Are you looking at it right this moment, opinion?
I'm staring at it best I can.
Do you see it?
I see it.
Okay, I just wanted to know.
Okay,
That's all.
glad that. Okay, good.
Meta's going down, dollar.
Ooh, Simple would be happy.
Worse than
It's
expected
down,
fourth
but
quarter
it's-
results.
How's Tesla doing? I just want everyone to know that I've mostly exited my 140 puts on Tesla. I'm still holding a handful of contracts. That happened way faster than expected. Much like my Meta puts, my Tesla puts were dated several months out. Pleasantly surprised to see it hit 140 ahead of schedule, but wow, that was a vicious month.
Carnival is creeping its way back up to the $8 mark.
Interesting to see dollar strengthen a little bit because the BOJ adjusted their yield curve control and yen strengthened, which should put some pressure on the dollar. But here we have it going up slightly. I'm a bit confused.
It would appear that the market doesn't mind the CCL's earnings, which is interesting.
There it
is. I figured everyone, like including myself, is all like typing tickers and stuff, so might as well have some background music to help us chill out and relax.
Love
Now that it's past market open, you're more than welcome to do that TripAdvisor talk that, someone's like, what the heck am I walking into?
So I just wanted to ask you, what do you think about buying calls on Apple right now at this moment?
They could go up, they could go down.
Yeah, sure, but what about I don't know, by the end of the week, maybe?
Well, what do you think is going to happen?
I don't know. I'm very bad at predicting, actually.
So just predict the opposite of what you think.
What do you
Right.
use for predicting?
I try to read properly the charts and all this stuff, but I don't know, man. I'm still learning.
Oh man, likewise. The way I see it is like I'm trying to build up my my arsenal, trying to learn how to do predictions and read a company, but
Yeah, I think I was just expecting some kind of bounce after the large fall that has experienced.
Hey guys, I wanted to jump in real quick and make some comments on the Facebook data center stuff. I work for a data center infrastructure company, and we sell battery backup systems, one of the largest in the world. And so this year, companies spent records amount of money with us, mostly due to inventory constraints. And I found with talking to a lot of resellers that they've done that with a lot of different product sets. Servers and everything have been 40, 50 weeks out. I'm quoting next year, December lead times on some of our products. So I think a lot of companies spent a lot of money on data center stuff already. So I think trying to play any company that would sell to them would be pretty difficult at this point. I think maybe a year or two ago you could have done that, but I think a lot of them saw the inventory constraints as an issue and then just started spending money. Like we had to shut some companies down. That being said, Facebook was our third largest spender this year at $32 million, and the three people above them are all co-location companies, and actually T-Mobile's above them too a little bit. So I would just be worried that there's going to be a downtrend in spending for infrastructure. That's all.
That's a good comment. I mean, I wouldn't doubt that there was pull forward. Do you guys allow cancellations on that if they decide to?
It depends on the company, for sure, and it depends on the product. We do, if it doesn't ship, typically we will allow them to cancel an order. But some of these larger companies have pretty customized setups where we couldn't just go and then resell it to somebody else. So typically we make them buy it. That being said, they're long. It's a long purchase cycle, so typically we're involved from the beginning. I don't see anybody canceling stuff. I just think that they've spent a lot of money. I mean, some of these guys spent 2-3 times what they did the last couple of years. Yeah, I'm nervous as a sales rep that like my numbers aren't going to be as good next year because we just did have a lot of like, hey, I want to buy this because I'm afraid I'm not going to get it for my project next summer kind of stuff. And our product set is typically the fastest. So a lot of these servers and things like that are very long lead times as well. So I think a lot of spending has been done. That's probably about it.
So you personally, knowing that people were sort of stocking up and maybe you were hitting your sales quotas and exceeding, did you sort of look ahead and anticipate maybe that things would cool off, or?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think there's going to be a cool off. I don't manage these massive accounts. I have about 15 smaller accounts for like maybe $4 or $5 million a year, where some of these accounts spend 50. So for my accounts, it's a lot smaller projects. It's stuff that's not going to be super impactful to my sales number. But some of these big guys, like the sales reps, are definitely not going to be making. We get bonused on year over year. So you have to basically sell what you sold last year. And a lot of them aren't going to do that this year from the conversations I've had. 2023 is going to be kind of a down year, which is typical, but we've had a 2-3 year increase every year of double-digit percentage growth within my organization. So definitely a lot more spending the last couple of years than has been in the past. Now, is that because data centers are growing and all that? Yeah, that is true. Like all of that stuff is still growing, metaverse, data centers, whatever you want to talk about. But I do think that overall there was a lot of incentive we had to like deny orders because some of these big guys wanted to come in and just buy up all the inventory. There's a massive co-location company where we basically had to tell them like, no, you can't buy all that stuff. You need to buy this much, because we would just end up pissing off a bunch of other big companies too. So it's definitely an interesting year for sure.
Beardy, thank you for your insights, man. I mean, continue talking, but we really appreciate it.
Hey, I'm not sure if anybody brought it up yet, or if they have. I jumped into this kind of late. I had errands to do this morning. Okay, Helicopter, did you manage to get those puts for Madrigal Pharmaceuticals?
160s for July, I believe it was. I'll look in a few minutes, and it was they were about $6 a piece. They're worth it to me. Yeah, without doubt.
Nice. Yeah, I saw your DD from last night on Confused Money. That's why.
Yeah, I posted 2 this morning of their financial statements. They got 2 months worth of cash and securities left for their current cash burn. They do have ability to borrow for 6 more months. They have the ability to borrow for 6 more months after that too, with loans in their 8K. But yeah, usually when things go up this irrationally, they're not a $6 billion drug in my most valiant opinion. I think they're $100, maybe $150 share company. That's why I did the 160s. FDA approval isn't quick, and even if it is done, it's not a cure. It's a treatment with 2 factors that tested positively for it. So long and short of it is, yeah, I don't think it's as wide scale uses like Keytruda or anything. So I don't see them selling, $2 billion worth of this drug a year. But who knows? It's one of those things where somebody has to buy them. They're not going to be able to manufacture, sell, and make a profit to change those financial statements within the next 6 months. That's why it goes back down. I think it's hysterical too that the name of the company is the same name from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. That's just absolutely hysterical to me.
So chill. I feel like ordering coffee.
Yeah. I just dipped out for a second to watch the old Michael Burry video where he gets confronted by this big investor, and he's like, "I may have been early, but I'm not wrong." And everyone kind of says that, but they always forget what follows up, which is the big investor being like, "They're the same thing." I feel like that's some pretty important context. Sorry.
I'm always amused by that statement. I may be early, but I'm not wrong. Well, options have expiry dates. So
Yep.
if you're too early, you are indeed wrong.
You always roll over.
Hey, keep an eye
Listen.
on Transocean Limited. Somebody mentioned that last month, and it is going up. Apparently, it just got like a $1 billion contract, and its market cap is 3.29 billion.
For anybody who listened about the regional banks and especially the ticker DPST, which is the ETF for the regional banks, it's up 4% today.
Norwegians gonna be breaking that 4% move upwards, hopefully in a little bit. It's up at 3.75%.
Yeah, regional banks are pretty strong play if you think we'll avoid a recession, because most of them focus on lending, and the net interest margin that they can make off of the current kind of high federal funds regime makes them pretty appealing. They typically trade at a reasonable PE compared to like the big banks and more widely held names. So if you think there's a soft landing in store, the regionals are a pretty strong way to go. There's some names there: Huntington, PNC, a few others.
They do tend to move.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say they do tend to move with SPY unless there is other news. But at the same time, they pay a good dividend, and they're usually a good long-term hold for growth.
Yeah, I did mention a regional bank a few months back, Whitney Hancock, one second, it was HWC with Whitney Hancock ticker. You know, they're one of these regional banks in the Gulf that doesn't do anything fancy. They just do old school lending and stuff like that. And their stock has held up fairly well through this whole recession that we're in, downturn in the market. You can see it's traded mostly sideways. In addition, they do pay a dividend, like you were saying. So, these smaller regional banks that haven't done anything fancy are probably at a low risk, and them lending into this high interest rate environment is something that they probably have an opportunity to make a little more margin in it. But I'd be interested to hear from anybody who's in banking if that's true or not, and how your bank might be performing in this environment.
I mean, I'd just be curious, why is that chart? I mean, well, let me go out. I was looking at the 1 year. I thought I was looking at the 3 year. I mean, it's been pretty hammered. I mean, it's down 67 to, I mean, a low of 20, and it's just now bouncing off the low. Any idea why these have been hammered so hard?
The same thing as everything else. They tend to go with the SPY and with everything else. That's why when I saw they were down in the 20 range, that's when I started mentioning them. It was a low for the last year without a doubt. I see them in the 30 to 40 range, and this is going to be very important that I didn't bring up yet. We were at 8 tenths of a basis point, or 8 basis points inversion on the 2 to the 10-year yield for bonds a few weeks ago. The bonds did not go up with the last Fed increase rate at all. So that tells me now today I look at it, they're at 5.6 basis point inversion. The inversion has shrunk. People are borrowing in outside of the mortgage and auto areas still in good amounts is what I'm guessing from the banking stuff I've seen. So realistically, I think that the financials for these banks are always good. It doesn't matter if they borrow at 5, they're still going to lend at 7. It doesn't matter if they borrow at 0, they're going to lend at 2. They always make their money. And these regional banks have letters of credit department, which is where it's a genius. They lend money to people, to big companies. And it's just genius with the way they do it. And also their foreign exchange are always set up to make money. They hedge properly. They do all the things they're supposed to do. A PNC is one to me that it just always keeps growing. They acquired a few years back, National City, the Mercantile banks, and one more group of banks. They actually grew too big, and the banking people came in and said you had to sell some of your areas to Key Bank or another bank. And Key Bank actually bought them up because they had grown too big to become a monopoly. They know what they're doing. They put their money aside right. They always earn dividends, and the way they were beaten down with this economy wasn't indicative as to the profits that they still make. So long and the short of it is they were down to a point in I think it was around 22. I first mentioned them at 20. I was in love with it. To get DPST if you couldn't afford the bigger stuff, because that is basically the ETF that, incorporates a lot of those. The top 10 regional banks in there are a lot of people know, like Fifth Third and others. So do some research on it, take a peek. It's probably, I see us with those bond inversion yields going down and the bond prices not going up. It's very pointing in the direction right now of 2023 still being good for these banks. So I'm in on it. So anybody else wants to get on that, or an individual bank, you might have ups and downs with it because of the way the market's been going. But in long term, profit makers, and the price will go up.
Well, so also consider DPST. That's ETN, right? I think using options.
Yeah,
right?
it's
So you're not,
the 3 times bull ETF. So the fact that it
yeah,
went down so low, when they all start growing faster again, this will take off.
yeah. I don't know if there's like a fundamental thesis for why they just all of a sudden take off as a sector. So for me, like regionals are much better played through just traditional longs. You pick either a single stock selection or you pick the ETF. But yeah, I mean, I guess if you like to gamble, you could pick this ETN.
Yeah.
Hold on. So the ETN is the leverage version of DPST.
Were you asking that, or were you saying?
Yeah, I kind of was.
DPST is the 3 times bull leveraged. They're leveraged 3 times toward the bull side of these regional banks gaining stock, gaining share price.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think the KRE is the regional banking ETF, which is more of a traditional type of holding. So you'll have a yield on that from the dividends, and it's kind of picking a diversified basket of the regionals.
And if PCE comes in light on Friday, like I think it will when the market goes up,
all of those regional banks will gain share price minus any bad banking news. But yesterday there was bad banking news for Wells Fargo individually, and all of the regional banks had probably a 0.5% gain on their share price yesterday. So it's one of those things where they're strong as long as people aren't scared.
Wow, this is a big tech rebound right now. Like everything on QQQ is up huge.
Yeah, you had some buying come in here kind of out of nowhere. A couple of mine jumped from down 0.25% to up 3% here. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's reached the technical, I guess, resistance. So I'm actually selling some of my calls.
Uh, Technical resistance on what factor? Sorry, what indicator are you looking at?
Oh, just the daily charts on the Bollinger Bands. Nothing, nothing long term. This is just scalping plays. Yeah, I'm not holding any, I guess, purchase contracts longer than 10 minutes. Just hold on.
So far today, Google and United Health Group are the only of the top 35 components of SPY that are down. Everything else is up, being led by NVIDIA, 2% gain.
Carnival's heading for 8% right now. I wonder if they can hit 10% today.
Well, it looks like we're about, what, 5 minutes from the announcement?
Well, I mean, they already did the announcement, but like it's, I think, a conference call at maybe 10 o'clock for guidance, and that's normally the one that does the market moving, I think.
Yeah, they'll do the
Yeah.
real damage or lack thereof. What was their earnings report? Because I know they did pretty bad at market open, right?
They didn't lose as much money as they projected.
Yeah, for a recession, they had $3.8 billion in revenue. For a failing company, I mean, that's a lot of revenue. You just got to figure out a way to make profit off of it.
Yeah, and price to
Definitely.
is not the way to go. So Norwegian does price to market. I'm hoping that people that look into these industries will see that, and Norwegian will be up by the end of the week. We'll see what happens.
It's an amazing move in Carnival, down 4 to up 8.
Yeah, they fucking fuck them, dude. I don't know why they did that little pump or dump at the end or in the beginning of the morning. They dumped so hard.
Well, it was at 10 at the beginning of December, so they dropped this, obviously overdropped it, knowing the bad news would come, hoping people would play blitz to me, and now it's going back up to the level it was 5 days ago. So we'll see how that reacts from that, but looks like they pushed it down over to try to get more action out of it. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, bad news. Not a lot of well, they still have cash, but not a lot to cover. Their debt's 5 times the amount their cash size right now. It's reporting. So interesting.
I played, had some plays in Norwegian back in November, and saw how it kind of worked and trends and whatnot. So I was hoping to make a little bit of money using that same technique, but Norwegian's lagging today compared to its competitors, bro.
What does a unusual VIX spike mean? Does that mean like we could see more volatility today, so we could expect more, downswings and upswings? Like, is that what VIX represents?
VIX is based on volatility. So if the volatility goes up.
Yeah, the market isn't a representative of VIX. VIX is a representative of the options market. At the same time, it's at 20. That's a safe level for the VIX. You're not going to see a ton of volatility because of that. Volatility you're going to see today is because of buying and selling. That's why you'll see SPY going up when it's under 20 or so. And SPY is going up for the day. And I expect SPY to be at 390 by the end of the week.
Didn't somebody say here that like if VIX goes down, then SPY goes up? If VIX goes up, SPY goes down, or something like that?
They tend to have that relationship, though it's not always true. If they're both going up, the VIX is being manipulated. If they're both going down, the VIX is being manipulated. It's very possible. Google VIX manipulation. Very possible that they do it.
And then also
Okay, now this is just the stupidest question ever. I just have to ask: why is the SPY $400? Or isn't it 4,000 technically? Do they just make it 400 so that it looks lower?
Well, SPY is an ETF based off of components, and they don't all have equal weight in there. So if you do research on the SPY, you'll see that it's different components, different percentage wise of the S&P 500 in there to make the SPY ETF. So that's representative of the S&P, but it will always differ by a little bit. If the S&P is at 3990, then SPY could be at 397, or sometimes even at 400. Depending on the components and where they're sitting. I think Tesla is one of the largest components of it. I have the top 35 components of it in a watch list that I keep track of all the time to give me a general idea of where SPY is compared to those components of it.
Okay.
I
do
usually,
you do the wheels or any theta game plays, helicopter?
No, I'm not that advanced. I'm good at research. I'm good at knowledge. But as far as my options plays goes, I've been doing them for about 5 months. So I started with just naked puts and calls. I've gotten to the point where I'm comfortable with covered calls and sometimes even butterflies. I've tried a couple for small amounts. Broken wings or something I'm considering, but debit spreads and credit spreads haven't done them a lot. So I'm learning, but at the same time, I've heard people talk about the wheel. And yeah, no, not me.
Yeah, I was trying to get a quick knowledge on it last night. I've been digging into it, obviously, but it's not something I can learn in just one sit. So I was like, but it seems like a lot of people that actually stick to it, sometimes they get some good wins out of it, but if they lose, it seems like they lose it all.
Yeah, that's what I learned about the naked calls and puts. If you feel strongly, you're going to make money, which I've obviously posted it a few times. I made a lot of money feeling strongly in certain ways, but I've also lost big chunks, and that caused me to start to reevaluate what I do and start listening to the guys on here about options more than talking about the simple options. But for me, a lot of what I've done in my background is accounting and financial. So I understand looking at a financial statement of where a company stands and reading the 8K or even the 10Q of where they sit with what they can produce.
Yeah, see, I had a foster family I grew up with that he was an accountant, and he always said, and he was a Republican, but he said companies tend to operate more often when a Democrat is in office in the red versus when a Republican is, typically based on the the tax legislation around that administration. So do you also, not saying that it's only because of that, but this recession, but also people are like, yeah, it's Democrats are, in power, so companies typically in history operate in the red during these administrations. Why is that?
I don't know if it's as much in the red. It's when they raise taxes, they'll use more capital for more expenditures that could build future growth, but yet not show in the financial statements.
That was my next question. Do you believe that they do more research and development during these times?
I think it's very possible because they know the difference in taxation belief between the Dems and the Republicans, but it doesn't make a huge difference. I think a lot of it is investors too. Investors tend to invest less during the Democratic pregnancy administrations, and then invest more during the Republican administrations. But it's 6 and 1, half and the other. I just try to play the way the market's going.
You think that was foolish that Kathy Woods was picking up more Tesla as Elon was selling? She bought like $5 million more.
Yes. I don't know. I mean, I wonder if they're all just trying to pump their own bags. Like that's what I really felt when Elon Musk was coming to step down. I was like, oh, he's just doing this to pump his Tesla bags. But then people were posting stuff from the FIFA game, talking about how he was meeting with other big investors.
What if
Yeah.
Elon's doing the ultimate tax harvesting? I don't understand this thing that you guys keep talking about tax harvesting at the last month of the year. Is he trying to lower Tesla stock so that he can carry his losses for the next tax year?
No. See, tax harvesting is when you buy something that decreases in value, and so you sell it so that you can offset, earnings from your income, your work, or other gains that you might have taken. So I think that's what people are referring to when they talk about tax loss harvesting. And so I'm sure whatever Elon makes from his salaries for CEOs is like pennies compared to he wouldn't even be a loss. It'd be massive gains on his option exercises.
People at Elon's level don't pay taxes anyway. They don't need to use stocks to fix that. They have plenty of other ways to make sure that their taxes come out to like $5.
Well, he's documented last year. He paid the most taxes.
They pay taxes.
$11 billion in taxes.
Right. He was the single largest individual taxpayer last year. And with all the selling that he's had to do this year to cover his Twitter purchase, he's going to have another huge tax bill come April in 2023. So some of these sales, like when he sells to do some business maneuvers, he has to sell even more to cover his tax liabilities from doing that. So he's paying taxes, trust me.
Yeah, talking about billionaires not paying taxes is a completely media-driven BS. Some of them may pay less taxes than they should, but that doesn't mean they're still not paying exorbitant amounts of money to taxes.
That's correct. 1% of $1 billion is still a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm trying to, because like one of my grandmas, for example, she has her condo owned by her trust, and I'm trying to show the value in my other grandma for her to do that. Do you guys have any recommendations like on how to guide her through that? Because she wants to start preparing, her assets to make sure she's not, being dumb with them in that sense.
Have her get a good tax attorney.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that's a pretty good case to talk to somebody. I mean, I do know like when people get older, they used to try to sell their assets to lower their total liabilities. That way they could get Medicare. But I know that they nixed a lot of that. You have to sell your assets. I think it's 5 years now. So they look at a 5-year total of your assets when you look to go on Medicare.
Well,
it's called Medicaid, actually.
Medicaid, yeah, sorry, yeah, thank you. Sorry,
Yeah, it's
clarify.
millions of
Medicaid.
All right, so
yeah. So
Medicare, you get like the regular. It's like a regular HMO, and Medicaid is basically if you're living in a nursing home, and you need to take like long-term care.
Yeah, correct. So what people would do though is they don't give you Medicaid if you have assets. Essentially, they will sell your assets on your behalf, and they're like, you pay your healthcare through these assets. Well, what people would do is say, hey, I'm going to give my house and my money to my son or my kids, and not have any assets. And that's how they would try to beat the system. And I know they nixed that. So I just
well, I
get
know
a
the
tax
big
attorney.
thing that right, the tax attorney and an asset attorney is good, and we're gonna definitely look into one of those and try to save some money by not getting a too expensive one. But the main benefits that I'm reading on for her would be obviously the real estate aspect of it. If she sold her house to a trust that she's the beneficiary of, she can then pass the house down, and there's not the um, inheritance tax on trusts. So her daughter, which is my mom, would be able to save a little bit of that way. But then also, if the trust is owned by the house, we were reading that she would be able to, for example, she just had to spend like 12 grand on expenses for the house. If the trust was owned by the house, that 12 grand would be a trust expense because it's being done strictly to keep the estate
Maintain the
good
value
shape.
of the asset.
Yeah. So it would help her with her pension because she's on a pension now, because then with that 12 grand, she would be able to use as almost like a tax liability or a tax credit.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to find the tax expertise in this particular form for handling all that stuff.
I just, not even in tax purposes, I'm talking about trust, really. I just want to know if anybody has any knowledge with trust, because in Florida, all these condominiums, all these houses, they're all owned by trust. Like everyone that buys something, they're buying it from their trust, and then they're the beneficiary of the trust. So I was just like, if it's so common down here in Florida, I'm like, someone here has to like have that, set up as well. But I agree, it's hard. There's not too many people that actually use that setup. But there's just so many old people here. They're OGs down here. Not old, but you know what I mean. Ancient.
Well, they do call it the Heaven's Waiting Room, right?
Whoa, dude! I've never heard that. I have never heard that, dude.
But no, like going back to the trust thing, there are attorneys that specializes in these trust, and then also hopefully your grandmother has long-term care insurance, because that would really reduce the cost of basically nursing home admissions. And they are basically what drains most of American savings at the moment, because nursing homes at a base is about $14,000 a month.
Dude, yeah, my grandpa, he had 500 grand in his savings before he went into his nursing home. They completely drained him within 3 years.
Oh yeah.
That
Fuck
shouldn't be
nursing
illegal.
homes.
Yeah. And he invented the seatbelt in the GM. So if you go into your car, if you have a GM car, the way that the seatbelt extrapolates, it comes out of the wall, he invented that design. So he had a good life. It's not like he lived in poverty, I'm saying.
So the other thing I wanted to mention on that question about companies operating in a red during Democratic administrations, one of the pressures that you have is if corporations do too well, and then the cries for raising the minimum wage and unionization start getting louder and louder. So companies don't want to trigger any of that kind of stuff. If they're not operating in the red, then they can have a reason for not raising minimum wage or unionizing.
Yeah, that's a good point. But they haven't raised minimum wage in like 50 years, so they don't care about that. That's just, you know what I mean? That's literally, they keep us worried about that because they know they're never going to do it. Like, or if they do it, it's just already too late because like when they, like it took them 125,000 people had to be killed in car accidents before they regulated seatbelts. So it's like, you know what I mean? They're going to wait till the very last minute when all these companies made all their profit already and then be like, oh yeah. And then by that time, we'll need to go to an even higher minimum wage. My thing is what's up with the $1.7 trillion? Is this going to help the economy in 2023 for the stock market if they do approve this bill? Like, are we going to see some, giant fucking catalyst come of this?
No, it's not going to help. It's fight inflation.
I mean, if
Yeah, but
anything,
we're going to fight inflation with more inflation. It's like genius.
I think defense is going to be the biggest winner in this. I
So,
think they are approaching $1 trillion a year for defense budget.
I'm glad I didn't.
Calls on Lockheed Martin.
Or calls on chips. Any chips like Intel, Alden, right? They all get those big government military contracts, right?
Right. There's a company called Aerojet or Aero whatever. It was a pretty big news for like quite a while. AJRD, Aerojet Rocketdyne. They make the Javelin missiles. They, I guess, they failed to get acquired by Lockheed Martin, and then another defense contractor picked them up, or they bid it. They outbid freaking General Electric, so that's a pretty big deal.
What was that ticker?
AJRD.
I'm sick of working 70 plus hours a week and still struggling. This inflation is not a joke. The joke is the entire financial system. Cost of living is ridiculous, and I'm forced to work tons of hours with no breaks and still can't pay my bills. AMC stock. Oh my god, dude. Simple just posted the funniest shit.
What's up with AMC? I'm driving.
Oh, there's some dude going for really sad, I guess. Some guys, probably lost some money.
Yeah, I had the unfortunate pleasure to stop by the AMC's talk like a couple of weeks ago. It is like copium city, man. Everybody's talking about, oh my god, my ape units are like less than $1. What do I do? I put a trillion.
What?
Yeah, like all these people like saying that they put so much money into ape units, and then the moderators of the talks. I mean, I don't know where they come from, but they're just like, oh, Diamond Hand or Hodl, blah blah blah. So I I don't know, man. We're living in like an alternate reality right now.
Well, actually, I did have a question about AMC. So they have all these movie theaters, right? And those are, I mean, they're not small assets. I mean, those things are expensive assets. How, like, what do you think the opportunity is for repurposing those assets for something else, like a VR playroom, like where you can go and you can put on VR headsets and
Well,
do that kind of stuff?
That's a great point, but I don't know about for VR because their locations are all so prime, dude. Like they're right off of major highways and freeways.
Oh yeah.
They've had some of the best real estate like selection picking out of the last 30, 40 years.
Right.
Just their locations alone, you would want something I think big because you're getting a lot of traffic driving by constantly all day. Maybe not AMC's not taking advantage of the traffic anymore, but you're right. Like if something was there
Yeah, I
I
can
mean,
definitely see that.
like I mean, taking emotion out of it and all these apes and stuff like that, taking that out of it. I mean, they do have some good assets, and I wonder how they can be repurposed to make those assets generate some return. Because it might be like an acquisition target for some larger company like entertainment or I don't know, something. There's got to be something you could do with that stuff.
Some of them already
Oh,
have VR reality. It's called Dreamscape.
yeah.
Like the one I have one down the highway, probably within 10 miles that has Dreamscape in there, and that's what I was talking about.
Weren't you the one that mentioned that you rented out the whole theater for your daughter's birthday or something, or for?
Yeah, I did Wakanda Forever. Yeah.
So, just out of curiosity, so how much does it cost to rent out a movie theater? Like, how much did you pay for that? Because that's kind of interesting.
Well, for Wakanda, it was 600.
That's
And
it.
yeah,
done it for
it
days.
was wonderful. And once you do it, it's like you can almost never go back. Because it was her being able to have fun, to sing, to dance, and to go through everything and not be bothered by anybody. And plus, we did the dine-in to the seating. It was perfect. So it was really a great experience.
Yeah, not a lot of people realize that you could rent out a whole theater for pretty cheap.
Mm-hmm.
I've never done it for. I mean, yeah, I've done it for dates, and once I found out, I'm like, oh shit! It makes you look extravagant without it actually being extravagant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the cost actually is anywhere from $259, usually around $259, and that's you can have up to typically 20, 30 guests. To about 600. Of course, 600 was because it was opening weekend. Within I think 1 week of opening weekend, and she just had, and it was kind of like prime time, so that was why it was higher.
Gotcha.
Sounds like they're not making a lot of money on that, though.
Oh, it's better than not.
Because I have another one. Alamo Draft House actually. Although I know they're not AMC, but I was thinking AMC may also need to incorporate something like this. But Alamo Draft House, another movie place up next to me, is actually starting to do video game leagues. And it's starting to get really popular because esports here in Dallas is starting to, we have several esports arenas. So it's starting to get really popular. And so I thought that was something that was really neat for movie theaters to kind of get into.
Yeah. There's a movie theater called the Violet Crown, and that's what they did. They turned their movie theaters into like big old video gaming hangouts.
Arenas. Yeah.
I seen that. Yeah, I've seen that.
Absolutely. So, like, I can't wait for Super Nintendo. I'll be renting it out again, another theater out again for Super Mario Brothers, and and if I'm right, I think some screens, some AMCs will allow gaming hookups. I'll have to look into it further, but yeah, pretty cool. And we have some that actually started streaming concerts, live concerts as well. So, but yeah, but ours has Dreamscape. It's the VR reality, and or the VR, and it has like 3 movies: a dinosaur, some ocean, and let me see what else it has. Alien Zoo, Curse, Lost Pearl, and the Blue. Something to do with the ocean.
Well, that makes me wonder. Maybe I should start buying into Dave and Buster's again.
You should what?
Like, throw some money into Dave and Buster's.
Ours actually, and so funny you say that. Our Dave and Buster is across from not too far from the AMC. Ours has turned into almost like at a certain time, like 9, 10 o'clock, it turns into like almost a club, adults only club. They go in there, party, hang, the TVs and everything, and they have like a lot of events. So ours is almost like a little club.
Have you guys heard of like a spot called Main Event?
Yeah, we have those.
Yeah, so that's like a competitor. But yeah, like our company had our like little monthly get together there, and it was actually popping it because I wouldn't go and pay out of pocket because I'm cheap, but you know, I was like, cool, free food, whatever. So I went and it was packed, and I was like, damn, I didn't realize that this place was. And I'm assuming Dave and Buster's would be kind of the same.
Yeah, I think Dave and Buster's ball main event a few months ago.
And then like Cincinnati, like they had a bar there, and you could do like arcade games and pinball games and that whole setup. So that was a cool idea. I mean,
yeah, main event is really cool. They typically have your laser tag, your they'll have the things that you can do crawling around, and the bowling alley. So that's the addition. Whereas Dave and Buster's is pretty much strictly gaming, sports bars in the dining area, in the party rooms. So you get a lot more activity, physical activity with main event.
so it looks like all the three major cruise lines benefited from the earnings and the current press conference from Carnival. You have
Did you have calls?
Yeah, I do have some calls. I just, you know, I bought them way too early. Just the market dropped a lot, but still gonna see if it keeps on rising a little bit more today. And I'm just debating now if I just should hold until the end of the week. You know what I mean? See where it goes, or if it see where the market's gonna go. But
Profits and letting some of them run.
yeah, I'll probably end up. I'm holding like 20 contracts, so I'll probably end up doing something with half of them and
That's right.
trying to secure some profits, and then see what happens with the other 10. You know, I'm still learning, so it's not really big bets. You know what I mean? So, but it's fun.
Yeah. But you learn to control that emotion quickly. That's one of the ones that you have to learn to control real quickly. Because just as easy as it's there, it's just as easy as it's gone.
Have you ever heard that it rains on the just and unjust alike? So you know what I mean? Like you could be an expert and whatever, and then lose a lot of money, and then someone who don't know shit could come in and accidentally, you know, make the right option or do a little bit of research and see something. But anyways, I'm still learning.
Absolutely right, man, and especially if you're drunk.
And then what I like to do is come here and then listen and then like try to understand people's positions, and then like kind of weed out like the nonsense and like just, you know. So once you start identifying what's nonsense and what actually has, you know, some substantial evidence to back up their position, you're like, okay, I can see where they're, you know, gathering that information from and how they're doing it. And then I find it easier to learn the market using like a company or something that you can really dive into before you try to go and read the entire market. But definitely, I've been playing the volatility of the Fed releases and, you know, CPI. Just still learning a lot. I have a long way to go.
I play some Texas Hold'em poker, and whenever a drunk guy sits down at the table, I get up and I leave. Because those guys, like, they'll sit down, they'll be just totally drunk, and they'll play the worst hand and end up winning. You know, it's like
See, that's how I've been. I've done that crazy dumb shit, and they like I hit river cards, and people are like, "What the fuck? You were playing that? You went all in? You were all in, and you were chasing a 3 on the river." And I was like,
and they get it.
They used to take you out back and beat you for that in Vegas.
Really?
oh yeah, but yeah. So like that was me.
Just because you're lucky you get an ass whooping?
But yeah, but you know what I mean? And I'm not just trying to get lucky. I'm not trying to just throw everything I work hard for into one thing and see if it works out. I'm trying to learn and, you know, maybe make a career shift. But, you know, this stuff, I mean, it comes gradually, but it comes quicker to some than others. And people, I think, kind of just get to a level where they understand it and they don't want to learn anymore. They just want to try to get rich off that little bit of information they have and knowledge they have. But, you know, I'm not even trying to do that. I'm trying to just grow my knowledge in this field and see what happens.
Well, let's have
I'm trying to throw like $5,000 every couple months into 0 DTE option calls or puts or whatever, and hopefully maybe one time make like $100,000.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I mean, the gambler in me comes out like last week. You know, try and just play the volatility of all the news and just But I'm not trying to put myself in a position where I'm like, oh man, how am I going to do a mortgage next week? But you know what I mean? Because I work hard. Fuck it.
Oh yeah, see me.
Yeah. But I understand that gambling
Because
part.
I don't believe in buying something that the government can just use to tax me more and all this shit. So as a young man, I'm not looking to like save a bunch of money for a house or, you know, but I don't spend a bunch of money going out to eat or anything. But I know exactly what you mean.
But yeah, and cruise lines all across the board benefited from carnivals. Probably gonna hold until probably maybe tomorrow. They expire on Friday. Let's see what happens. But
yeah, my carnival call.
what are you thinking about doing with those carnival? I mean, are you gonna, you know, just I'm holding 20, so I'll probably end up selling. Well, I'm gonna sell 10 by end of day and then play out the other 10 tomorrow, maybe Friday. Well, Christmas is coming, so I'm trying to settle all these funds. I mean, right around the corner. So.
How up are you?
What are you doing with your carnival? I mean, how are you going to play that out? And
Take
how many?
your lunch. How up are you?
You know, almost 200%. No, yeah, 200, like $200. So
No,
like,
what's your percent on those contracts? What's your percent gain right now?
Let's see. And they're kind of all spread across the board because I'm trying to learn the Greeks also. So I bought like across the board different strike prices, but altogether I'm holding like 23 contracts and it says 3.8. Yeah. It's not a lot.
3%.
Yeah.
Can be up to.
No.
Okay, what about like the best one? What's the best one up?
My $14 calls, and I'm up $82. Like I said, I'm not putting a lot of money down.
No, percent.
Bro. What's the percent?
Sorry.
It's much so here's why I'm asking percent. It's much easier to evaluate the right move as a percentage of money put in. If you just give me flat dollars, I don't know, like up $82, but you bet 10,000 means nothing. Up $82, but you bet $5, that's great, right? So do percents.
What is the platform that you're using?
So I'm using Robinhood.
What is your social security number?
Okay. No. So if you click on your option, if you select your option.
Okay.
It should tell them on the right.
It says 8% for the best one, and because I bought them I bought them way too early, so that I didn't buy them on Monday like the guy who I'm not sure who's playing Carnival. He bought them on yesterday, I think. So yeah,
I bought mine
yesterday. Return percent.
Okay, so you have options expiring on Friday. Your best one, that is to say your lowest priced one, is a $14 option on a stock that is at $8 right now, right? And
no, I have mine on Norwegian. I'm sorry. I have my plays on Norwegian playing off of Carnival's earnings.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah, and Carnival, is at 8%, and like Norwegian hasn't moved up too much. Not compared to Royal and not compared to Carnival. So now it says 16%.
Because Norwegian is dropping back.
Yeah.
So what makes you feel that there will be something major to happen in the next 2 days that's going to get you a better return than if you just did it right now off of news that already made it run?
I'm going based on how Norwegian's running the company compared to Royal and Carnival. Norwegian doing price to market compared
That's
to.
long term. That's long term. You
Okay.
have until Friday. So in the next 2 days, what do you anticipate Norwegian Cruise Line is going to do or say to the market, or some news article is going to come out that is going to make the market say, hey, we already ran up a bit off of this news from Carnival, but Norwegian deserves to go even higher because something happened in the next 2 days. And unless you have a clear, identifiable event that you are planning on, these options are
Okay.
green and you should probably move
Okay.
on because you don't have much time.
Correct. Okay. Noted. Boom. That makes sense.
Yeah,
I
that makes sense. I like
Yeah,
that.
he's giving you.
I'm haunted by an eBay play that I did. I was playing off of their dividends. Like it was the last day to buy buy shares to get dividends.
Okay.
I predicted that it went up, but I didn't sell and I held for too long and I lost it all. But yeah, that makes sense right now. So,
Look,
Yeah,
man,
you have to look at the
when you
catalyst.
see
Merry
profit, bro,
Christmas.
you
Merry
need to
Christmas.
take
Merry
profit, man.
Christmas. Done. I'm not even, Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
Profit is
you're up.
profit. Remember that.
Yeah.
You're up, and there's very little time. That's the other thing.
And
Like
yeah, that makes sense.
I get
Though.
wanting to get more, but
Yeah.
there's such little time for something to happen
So
that's gonna make it more.
I just
If you'd have said you
yeah.
had 3 months, okay.
But yeah, those are my like little gambles before Christmas. But yeah, that make total sense because I don't see anything major news like.
Take
No
your hey,
other
take
catalyst.
your
Yeah.
lunch. Take your lunch. I got a question for you, bro, and it's not to be disrespectful, but do you have ADHD? Cause
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, bro.
okay, yeah.
I do. Bro.
I also have that as well. That's what I was asking.
No, I mean everybody
Yeah,
has
same, I got it.
disorders. I mean, if you want to call it a disorder, but I just kind of just utilize
Nah,
your.
I don't think it's a disorder. It's just some of us have it, some of us don't. I tend to do the same sometimes. So
yeah.
So take your lunch. In general, if you have a position that's winning, and the only reason for you to hold it is because it would be so much cooler if it was winning by more, then you don't have a reason to hold it.
That's my gambling.
Just keep that
That's
in
my
mind.
gambling.
And
that is
in the same vein, if you have a position that's losing a bit, and the only reason you're holding is because losing sucks, you should probably take that little loss because you're just holding to get a bigger loss, which is going to suck more.
yeah, I've learned to how to take gains when I see them, even if it's 20-30%. It's better to take that and then knowing that the next day you might lose it all.
Heard.
And
Yeah,
the
I think
last bit of advice I'm going to give you: do not check Norwegian's price anymore. You are now done with it. Treat it
Yeah.
like your ex. It's
Yep.
over. You're not
Yep.
going to look back. It doesn't matter how good she looks in the future. It's
Anybody
done.
watching Spy Rocket?
Fuck all the exes.
But I'll come back. I'll come back to it when their earnings report getting ready to come out.
Yeah, that's
So,
fine.
you know what I mean? It's like keeping an ex at arm's length. Just make sure she comes back.
That's fine. But don't look tomorrow and go like, "Oh man, I could have made more." It's done now. It's
Yeah.
over. She doesn't
I
look good anymore.
I do that because I sold some positions on Carvana earlier this week, and then Tesla I did a big one, not a big one like I said I'm learning, but I did buy $150 puts on Tesla a few weeks ago, and I just cashed them out this week. But I wanted to hold them. You know what I mean? Like you said, like I want to hold them and just let them grow, But yeah, thanks for the advice. You guys helped me make my decision, but no. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'm learning.
I mean, it's always okay to let
It
one or
makes
two
sense. It makes
ride.
sense your
Have
guys'
such
point of view. But yeah, it'd be a lot cooler to see it like skyrocket to fucking $18. But like, is there any real news that's gonna come out to have that big percentage change? Yeah, no, that makes.
any other catalyst. No.
Yeah.
Also, remember, small gains still compound, right? Like, so many people shoot for like, I'm gonna turn 5,000 into $1 million in the next week, and it's like, if you just like doubled $5,000 every 3 years over 20 years, it becomes $1 million. And most people here would be like, oh, but it's taking 3 years. That's too long. Like, let little gains build.
You will never go broke making a profit.
Famous words.
Yeah, and then I tell like some of the younger traders too, it's like the whole notion of infinite game theory. If you run out of money, the game is over. So really the goal is to preserve your capital and then leave some to gamble to YOLO with. I don't know what you want to call it. But you want to manage and mitigate your risk where you just don't kill yourself right in the beginning, unless you have more disposable income than say, I don't know, Warren Buffett or something. Because eventually the house always wins if you play long enough.
I'm up like 100% on my carnival calls. I think I'm closing them now.
That's a great another strategy you can do is you can close half and let the rest ride for free if you think it's going to move up more for some reason.
Right, I was thinking about that too. Hardy lips. Yeah, I agree. That's a good idea.
It's always good to take out what you put in on a double because you sleep a lot better at night when the worst case scenario is you just have what you started with.
Madrigal Pharmaceuticals just keeps on climbing. Jesus, man.
Yeah, so what's going to be the industry that booms over the next 12 months? Like 12 months ago, energy started booming like crazy. Like if we had, psychic vision, what's going to be this industry this next 12 months? It's going to be like, holy cow.
Soybeans maybe?
Not so easy to predict, man. If it was, we wouldn't be on this chat right now. We'd be in the Bahamas or something on boats. Right, like let's be real. If any of us were like, "Oh yeah, oil's going to go to the moon," and made a big bet on that, we would have made a single post and then pieced out.
Following Michael Burry into Geo doesn't seem such a bad idea with a recession coming.
Is there
that his prison play?
Yes. I mean, it's a cynical take, but it's also true that incarceration rates increase in times of economic downturn.
Just found the site for all the fines certain companies have gotten. So see, like Wells Fargo has gotten like $22 billion in fines. Trying to figure out who's got the most.
Check JP Morgan. They've got to be up there with that like $1 billion fine for spoofing silver that they got a few years back.
Oh, definitely.
Oh,
I wonder whatever
like, whatever.
happened
We made $10 billion on it, so go ahead. That's the price to do it.
I wonder whatever happened to.
Bro, you know what I hate about the recession is, as a bookkeeper, everyone stops paying their bills. Like, and it makes my job 30 times harder because I don't get paid enough to track you down and charge you all these late fees and then have to send it to, like, it just pay your bills, guys. You're just creating more work for everyone else.
Have you ever found people that you couldn't track down, or you just lost money, or said it wasn't worth it?
No, you can always send it to council and they'll start a pre-lien and all that. And they get tracked down, they get certified mail, they get all that. But there's been one guy, he owned a bunch of properties and everything he had listed was a rental property. So nobody actually had his actual address. Even the management company that he had managing his rentals, they didn't even have his fucking phone number or contact information. They were like, yeah, we get the money and we pay the bills. We haven't talked to him in years.
That dude's
so,
a
like,
fucking
nobody
ghost.
can track this guy down.
Wow. And you still got the money out of him?
Yeah, he randomly deposited $11,500 literally 2 days ago. Like, he didn't even call us, text us, nothing. He just randomly sent in the money. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, y'all were getting on.
Oh shit! Sorry guys, I put my $11,000 in the wrong pocket. Here you go.
Nah, they were getting on his nerves.
Man, he's getting on our nerves. He didn't even send in the late fee either. So we're gonna have to send him another certified letter saying, "Hey, you have 30 days to pay this late fee, or we're sending it back to council." Because the board are tired of dealing with him. He's been doing it for years, I guess, and they're like, "Listen, we're gonna prove a point this time."
But
Is it quote unquote council as in Andre wearing tracksuit?
Wait a minute, what has chat been up to? Let's check in chat. What y'all got?
Oh yeah.
Sounds like our clients at the call center I work at.
Oh no.
Hey, opinion. Do you guys have like modding the Discord chat channel? Because I hopped in a bunch of times. It really just sounds like a bunch of chimps screaming all the time. Not really.
What?
Yeah, I was there. Like they always just like kind of talking over each other, talking about fighting and shit. It was just like kind of random.
Uh-oh. No, we check in periodically, but usually the best thing to do is like ping us because
Yeah, I mean,
I guess
like,
maybe we should
that's the only
add
thing I
some
can, like,
moderators there.
yeah, because that's the thing. That's the only thing it kind of give me the impression of. It just sounds like a bunch of apes just like aping around.
I mean, like they're talking about futures right now in chat, which is, I mean, should be using stocks and
Oh
options,
no,
but
no,
okay.
no, the voice chat.
Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. So we switched Discords, right? We switched Discords, I think like a couple months ago. And so the new one, I mean, is linked in the comments, in the top comment. But yeah, the old one was extremely chaotic. The new one, it's only like 5,000 people. So people kind of like still have a voice, the personality of it's still like growing. But the whole idea is to be like super not toxic, super like, more informative, more intelligent kind of thing, right? So yeah, no one really uses our voice chats except like sometimes in the evenings we run like movie night or we'll run Jackbox games. I see Mr. Zombie Bear just popped in there right now. I think he's also listening into this call, so I think that's why. But you should definitely check out the new Discord. And yeah, like we probably will need to add some new mods at some point, but for now it's quite well moderated.
So I shouldn't go in and just start making baseless accusation against all the apes, is what you're saying.
Well, if you really want to, I'm not going to stop you.
All right, I have top mod approval. Y'all heard it.
Oh no. But yeah, it's a good time. We're just trying to have a good time in there. So it's been good so far, though. Like, I'm honestly surprised at how many people joined so quickly. Don't have to talk to myself now. I can talk to my friends.
Well, it seems like
Opinion, how expensive is like a 1-bedroom apartment in Toronto?
Okay, so here's the thing about housing in Toronto. It's really cheap relative to the quality you're getting anywhere else in the country, but then it's expensive overall. So like a 1-bedroom apartment could be, I mean, you could get like a below ground apartment that's like a studio for like 1,400. Maybe a 1-bedroom in like a nice apartment for like 1,800. And then it just kind of goes up from there. Maybe by like even if you were to get like a nice like 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, that'd probably be like 3.25 or 3.5 grand Canadian. Right. So that's, so that's kind of the price range. But the wild thing is that like if you go to other cities in Canada or towns in Canada, like the prices are lower, but they're not that much lower. So I think it doesn't make a lot of sense to live anywhere other than the big city at this time. Like I think the pandemic really like changed how the housing market dynamic works, where it's like the big town cities are like where prices are so expensive, right? Because people have to like drive or walk into work. But now that remote work is a thing, like all that pressure is kind of like just gone. So very interesting. Do you guys live in big cities, or are you like?
I'm getting ready to go to Burlington, Vermont. I got some work up there. I just got back from Cincinnati, Ohio. Yeah. But Burlington, Vermont's my next location, so I'm getting ready for that fucking winter. I thought I was gonna get away from the East Coast for winter time, but things moved back times than expected, and I came back home. which is on the West Coast, and they're like, "Hey, you want to go out to Burlington, Vermont?" I don't know anything about Burlington.
Vermont actually has some of the best maple syrup outside of Canada. Maybe even better than some places in Canada.
Ooh.
Vermont's cool.
Yeah,
You'll get to see a moose, which is nice.
Yeah, when I was up in Cincinnati for the fall, I went up to Detroit in Canada a couple times and just kind of, see how different parts of the country live and think. But anyways, yeah, looking forward to going back that way. I'll keep you guys informed throughout the road trip. I leave on Christmas Day, so
Oh no, you don't get to like
we celebrate
relax on
we celebrate Christmas Eve. So yeah,
Oh, okay, perfect.
yeah.
Fair warning
Well-
to you, the rural parts of Vermont are going to seem more like cold Alabama than the East Coast, and it's going to throw you off if you're not prepped for it.
What's that mean?
Though it'll just seem like very like rural South. You'll be very thrown off. There'll be like a guy bragging about his good tooth. I don't know what it is about rural Vermont, but like that's just how it is. It's weird.
Oh, when I go work a contract, I go to work, do my thing, and then I go to my wherever they put me up or to my Airbnb. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and we'll continue this little get together out in Vermont for me.
That's so random.
We're probably not gonna have a call on Christmas Day, but we will on Christmas Eve.
Oh, it's a 30-hour drive for me, though.
Oh, jeez. You better take a bunch of breaks.
You get to bill those miles though, right?
Oh, yeah. And then on my last contract, I racked up a bunch of points from the hotel they put me up at. So just yeah, I'll use those points to get me to Vermont. Yeah. But I'm waiting for like I said, Christmas Day. I guess there's a winter storm up there right now. So
Why are you driving? I feel like flying in the US is so cheap, at least compared to Canada. Not as much as cheap as like the Europe region, but like it's pretty cheap in the US.
I'll be out there like all winter and beginning of spring, but like I want to venture off. I want to venture off to go see different spots too. So I just and then
Makes sense.
time to take a little road trip and see the. I don't want to see the. I mean, I go through the Panhandle, Texas, which I don't want to fucking see. Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri. I don't want to see all that shit, but Illinois and whatnot would be kind of cool.
Look, man, do yourself a favor. Get a flight to Utah, Colorado, or anywhere on that side, and go hiking. Go hiking in the Rocky Mountains too. You're gonna enjoy that.
Yeah, maybe sometime.
Also, opinion: Americans bring cars because we have to rent cars when we get off the planes. We can't just hop on a polar bear and ride to our destination like Canada. So that's why we use cars.
Hey! They don't use polar bears. They use moose.
Work every day.
No. The Moose is the luxury SUV. The polar bear is for everyday travel.
They use
Gotta get your Canadian right.
Yeah, every good Canadian has at least one polar bear and one moose. The moose is my daily driver.
How many maple leaves is that?
It's about 14 maple leaves.
All right, because I only got one. So I'm on my
Oh
way.
no.
You obviously have separate garages for the polar bear and the moose. You don't want them fighting. So it's very important.
Oh yeah, 100%. The one thing that was interesting to me when I visited the US is like, I feel like at least in like Canada, like we share a lot of businesses between the same provinces. But then in the US, it's like you very much have like West Coast brands and then East Coast brands, and like companies would be very like stuck to their one particular region or area. I thought that was kind of cool. So I'm kind of curious to see if you encounter any kind of new interesting businesses to talk about on the daily shows, on the daily talks.
Yeah, but
I don't think it's that they're stuck, more so than they're like unwilling to expand, I guess. I don't know.
Remember, the US is much closer to Europe in setup in the sense that like each state is in its very essence its own separate entity, right? That is then governed by a collective body. So it's very EU-like, even though the country doesn't necessarily put it that way. So you wind up with these businesses where they don't necessarily spread to other states because they almost have to treat it like spreading to a mini country. So there's different rules and stuff that they have to go by, so they don't always spread, or just the people are different. So the U.S. does, like, it's a weird collection of countries that claim to be part of the same nation.
That makes sense. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely adds some perspective. I'm going to imagine it's like us in Quebec.
Well, we all know Quebec is an independent French colony that has never been part of Canada, but just tolerates its existence.
It's exactly.
Great fishing in Quebec.
Oh, that actually reminds me of a random fact I read about the $1.7 trillion $1.7 trillion infrastructure bill. Is that salmon is mentioned like 65 times. Not sure what else is in there, or if any of it's useful for trading.
Well,
Calls on salmon.
They just awarded
Calls on
last.
semen.
They just awarded last week the strategic uranium reserve contracts, which I think was part of that bill. So those have all been settled and paid out. Well, not paid out, but awarded at least to those who are getting them.
Oh, interesting. Everything's priced in, I imagine.
No, cause I guess at this point probably priced in. It's like a one-time purchase, so it's not necessarily the biggest part of their business. But it did show who physically has stuff to sell versus who just claims, or at least who the government believe they can buy from.
Oh, and is that because of like people lying or inflating their reserves?
That's a market that gets a lot of paper. Mining in general gets a lot of paper companies. It's like biotech if you only needed $10,000 to stake some land, and then you could just sit there for a while claiming you're totally looking for stuff. Which is 100% a thing that happens, especially in Canada.
Like
with a lot of
uranium?
those companies.
Yeah, it definitely happens here. Yeah. Our microcap companies are a little bit shaky.
Well, that's the TSX thing. It has its own like separate mini mining companies that are just these collections of like Jim and Bob bought some prospector land and opened up a company, and they like made a little subsection of your stock market for it.
Oh shit! Sorry, I just noticed that some people have been waiting for like 30 minutes. The raised hand section. Oops.
Ape is up 5%, so that's cool.
That's how much more does it need?
Is this the Santa rally that everyone's talking about?
For me, Ape needs to move 0%. I'm already green, so I don't know about others.
I think I'm always going to be green on Ape no matter what.
XNDL is moving about the same percentage. It's at like 4.5% up today. It's moving.
Will those weed companies ever give you realistic returns outside of federal decriminalization and legalization?
Well, I mean, the end of the year is coming, and apparently the MORE Act should be going into effect by January 1st. So decriminalization will still be based on the individual state, unfortunately. So it doesn't seem like full-on federal legalization is ever going to be a thing now because of the MORE Act. So that's kind of like really piss poor. Because there's no way for any outside country to like get in now because of this. So unless it's readjusted, then it may or may not be bullish for outsiders other than the U.S. And there may never be a publicly traded marijuana stock in the U.S. now because of this. So I have no clue whether or not the MORE Act is going to be adjusted, but I hope it does.
Bro, look how great marijuana has done for California. Like, I don't want that shit federally legalized. Fucking CCP, they're all laughing at us. I'm gonna become a politician, and I'm gonna be the first young politician just to take the stance that I don't want weed legalized. I don't even understand the point of view that people think that that's a good idea. Like, you don't understand that it's like letting the monkey out of the Pandora box, and you can't trust Americans, let alone trust them to make the right decision of not abusing a legalized thing.
You mean like how people
hold
abuse?
on. Before we get super into this, let's just be careful to keep it as market related as you can, because I see the rabbit hole this is about to jump down, and people are gonna have very strong opinions, and that's fine. But just keep it market related. I know where this goes.
It's
Yeah.
Americans given
mean,
right to screw up.
Yeah, I agree.
Notes because I was gonna say the same thing could be said for alcohol, and we all know where it is now. Prohibition,
Yeah, prohibition
has gone and passed, so we never know if the same thing could happen to marijuana or not. Nobody knows that, so we can only just hold our bags and sit and wait. That's it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, it may be a slow going bet, but I have a fucking heavy ass bag. Well, no, I have 1,125 heavy ass sundial bags, and I'm awaiting. I'm awaiting.
Did anyone see any news on BlackBerry? Why is it down 8% when like the entire market is just super green?
I was reading something. I was reading something about it just not too long ago, but I forget what it was. I thought it was something to do with they lost a military contract, because I think they do some military contracts still. I'm not sure though. I'm speculating right now. Lowered a price target to 515. A bunch of people, RBC Capital, lowered price target to $5.50.
Sint, S-I-N-T, Syntex Technologies up 68% today so far. $5.
Helicopter, why didn't you tell me about that yesterday?
That's so far today. It's probably got room to go.
I wanted to get in on that. Golly. See, that's the type of play I need to know about, but beforehand, guys. No.
Yeah, sometimes I don't know about it till after.
Helicopter, do you do a lot of biotechs?
Negative. I try to stay away from them, but I do watch Labu, the ETF for the sector. It's up very well today as well. It's up 8.9%. That's a mover with the market, Labu for sure. But I do watch some biotechs, only because of other people I know that watch them through other sites, and I get informed and alerted when there's movement for them. I used to invest in biotechs till I lost a lot of money, realizing that, and you could see that I have negative thoughts about how when they spike, their ability to maintain that share price.
Well, I know they have a lot of paper companies in that sector, kind of like mining does. That's why I was curious. But also potentially huge gains to be made if you actually pick a real company early on.
I have people I know on there that make huge money every time Labu's down, and then it spikes up. They just know when it's going to happen. Tends to move with the market and SPY as the VIX falls. Labu and man, it's just I can't tell you how much money he's made every time that thing spikes up.
My blood pressure gets so high when people do not pay their bills, guys. And I'm gonna have a heart attack by like 40 years old.
So calls on heart medicine. Got it.
Yes, I'm gonna be buying a bunch of those in a couple months. We still got a week. You got 1 week, guys, and then we're sending it to the council.
Man, Apple's
AKA the men in tracksuits.
Yeah.
yes.
Track it down
Apple's
and
still
break it
going
even.
up, guys. It was a good day for those that diamond-handed Apple calls.
Is the market going to end green, or is it going to take a big dive around 1 o'clock when all the day traders take lunch? Wow, dude. Apple really, wow.
Yeah.
Pretty bullish.
So major indices are up like 1.7 on average, which is
Apple's
pretty.
low volume, though, for their average.
Yeah, it's lower compared to last week. So, basically, I would tread carefully.
Seems like the market's trying to recorrect from last week, but I think it dipped too hard last week for what came out. I mean,
Hey, what happened to the music?
I can still hear it.
Yeah, me too.
Opinion, what do you think? What should we YOLO all our money into?
No. Well, I don't know. I'll tell you that I was converting some ETH over, and I accidentally hit, and I had like some like dust coins on like some other stuff that I got for free, like a long time ago. So I hit market. I went to like go market sell it, but I accidentally hit market buy with everything I had. And luckily it didn't like fully fill, but holy shit, that was a lot of panic.
Oh my god, dude.
So I ended up taking like a 4%, 5% hit. Not fun. But what's worse is literally like the next day it pumped 10%. And I was just like, wow, what is life?
I would have been panicking, dude. That happened to me one time when the GME saga was going on, and I got in at like $36, and I wanted to buy more at like $100, but instead of hitting market buy, I hit market sell, and I sold all my GME at $100.
Oh
I was
no!
so mad, dude. I literally cried. I'll be honest, guys. I cried.
So what Opinion has essentially told us is when we start seeing ads for FTX and Tesla popping up in the sub, just understand it's just to make up that 4% and they'll be gone soon.
Yes, exactly. Well, hey, look, I'll be honest. You don't need that many ads to cover up what I lost.
We'll have Wall Street Bets presented by Budweiser.
Oh god. Hey, I mean, hey, you know what? Like, I'm literally not that far from Budweiser stage here in Toronto. Maybe one day I'll do a Reddit talk from Budweiser stage.
Are we going to get SBF
did.
speaking from prison? Is that talk still on?
Well, I'm gonna tell you the chances are low, but never zero.
Probably better
it would be
than me hitting on a 0 DTE call though. So.
So you're saying there's a chance?
If
Yeah,
he
it's
ever
the
get,
same.
if he ever gets on the chat, we should ask him for financial advice.
Oh, I'm sure he'll have no problem, giving financial advice. He would be the least of his crimes.
I want a SBF and Skrelly chat where they just come up with the competition is who can come up with the biggest scam, and then they just go at it.
Oh man, like, hey, all respect to Martin Shkreli, but Sam Bankman-Fried is on another level. So it's like $10 billion, $32 billion business. That's big dollars.
Well, we'll see who's on another level. Let's see how long his prison sentence is, and then we can compare, and then we'll figure it out, right?
Yeah, fair enough. Did you hear they just found like $1 billion from FTX? It's like, oh, we found it.
What do you mean?
Like,
What?
when they're like the new management, right? Because they're going through this bankruptcy process, uncovered like $1 billion and 720 million of which is like in cash. I guess the other is in like crypto. So investors who lost everything at least have like some hope.
Yeah, that's what I think that they're going to try to play, and it's convenient that they found it, but I think they're going to try to play negligence or whatever more so than fraud, and I think he's going to not do any prison time, honestly, guys. And I think a lot of his politician buddies are going to use this to try to take Binance down and kind of pivot off the fact that Binance was, we need more regulation because look, Binance was trying to cripple this FTX. FTX might have been negligent, but look, we found there's no fraud. So there's a good case building, and they had some of the best lawyers already hired to facilitate these type of fraud interactions. Meaning, like they had a lawyer already on staff that like specialized in like covering up fraud. So I that is not surprising to see that they have found $700 million because it probably came down to the fact like, hey, if we don't cough up this, because they have the money, guys. It's not that they found it; it was always there, and there's more of it. And it comes down to, I think, the big wig saying, hey, if you don't cough up this money, you are going to do prison time. If you cough up some of this money, we can make it look like you were just negligent. There was no fraud going on, and we can try to position it that, hey, Binance was crippling you by making you pay during a bubble of $330 or whatever, $1 billion, all that. But yeah, dude, follow the money. Like they say, follow the money. That money is out there somewhere. They got it.
We got him, guys. We fucking got him.
Like that kid's way too relaxed and everything to be like actually facing prison time. Like he knows deep down there's something that we don't know. You know what I mean? Like he knows, like he has like a get out of jail free card or something, or he's a lunatic or something. I don't know.
I mean, his parents are what, like top lawyers at Stanford or something like that, or like
No,
law professors.
They're compliance lawyers, but his girlfriend's parents were the MIT professors, which are highly connected with the SEC regulators. They all went to like college together. But his parents are compliance lawyers.
Coincidence? So. I think not.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They need to investigate the MIT professor and his relationship with the SEC regulator and how they got approved for all this stuff.
Well, no, I think that just makes perfect sense in that's why the girlfriend is staying quiet. She's gonna get out scot-free because she's not out here spilling all the beans, right?
Right.
And that's probably on advisement from her parents.
Danny, I sent you a message on Discord. Respond to me.
What?
I sent you a message on Discord.
Fine. I'll go respond to your love letter.
Just like she's getting guidance from her parents for this aspect of it, she was getting guidance the whole time. So they should be liable for this outcome because they were helping get them the meetings. They were helping file the paperwork for them because they were the ones that actually know how to do the real shit, So
there's still a lot of court case to go. Give it time.
All right.
There's like people being like, "Oh, is X or Y or Z going to get out?" There's a lot of time for a lot of stuff to come out, and names will burn. Just give it some time.
It's like Terranos. Like that lady, she got what's her name? Holmes? Elizabeth Holmes. Took ages.
Takes a long time to build a case when a lot of stuff goes on. You want to make sure you don't miss something.
Yeah, because they're also the people that are most equipped to fight back and be like, you missed something on page 3,842. I'm free. At least that's my mental image, anyways. So
That shit reminds me of this guy that got thrown into jail. I forgot for what, but he wasn't guilty. So they pulled a video of him at the football game where the incident happened, and they freed him afterwards.
Yeah, that's why I always stay at home and I always have a camera recording me so that I always have an alibi and I can always show, like, listen, I record myself 24/7 hours a day, a week, so I have all the
Right,
video.
record yourself, right?
Yeah.
So you do OnlyFans. Got it.
So what are your boys' day jobs? Are you all here every day, nonstop?
I'm literally
I
at my
get it.
computer working and
No,
doing the
I know
work that you've
you.
done all year.
I know you know. That's 100% true. Because I
Hey,
get paid for not doing anything.
Hey, simple. Congrats on Craig getting third place.
Yes, sir.
Third place.
You ain't first, you're last.
Alexander, are you unemployed? Are you here all day?
I'm employed. I work at a pharmacy. I just don't go in until 2 p.m.
Ah, nice.
Now, is this a legal pharmacy or the street pharmacy?
No, it's a legal pharmacy.
There's no difference, plot twist.
You're right. There is no difference. The only difference is that one is actually regulated and the other one isn't.
But I do kind of appreciate the regulation. I was like one of those guys. I didn't love regulation, but as I get older, I'm like, well, certain regulations nice. Like, I don't want my doctor not to have a license and he's operating on my heart. I want those type of regulations. I don't want people driving around without a driver's license. I want those type of regulations. But don't spy on me. I don't like that type of regulation.
Probably.
But sorry, I feel like Simple is building up for something.
Simple's about to go fucking asleep. It's like 8 p.m. where
No,
he is.
no. He's building right now.
It's live. So wait, you guys don't get paid to be here?
No. No. Simple. I want to remind you that I am simply a Disney employee. I'm a Disney employee. I work at the cast in the parks. My character is Goofy. I live vicariously through Goofy every single day.
Yeah, some random dude DM'd me yesterday. Apparently, I'm something of a hedge fund plant that shows like profitable positions and I guess trick people into getting bad positions and some shit like that.
Oh, you don't have to trick me into getting myself into a bad trade, dude. Trust me. I can do that all by myself. Yo, that sounds like a book. We should write that book, guys. You don't have to trick me into a bad trade. I can do bad all by myself.
That does
No.
sound like a good.
The second page of that book would be, and I don't listen to others that tell me better. But Danny here also did the same thing. He lost a lot of money not listening to me and Luz.
I know Luce needs to start a looseplays.com, and I'll just log in on there and just like follow his plays. Like there's someone that's called Zach's Plays, and it's like a website called zachsplays.com, and he like posts his plays weekly. But I lost money following Zach, man. I bet you I would make some money if I follow Luce.
Note you're a degenerate gambler. So there's a comment in the Disney in Canada, wait for you. You said you work in Disney, but you're in Canada.
Yeah. So it's called a plane.
That's him, guys. We got him.
What? Like a guy can't fly every day to Disneyland? I mean, people fly to Disneyland all the time.
I'm guessing Disney pays for your flights, right?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, nice.
I see.
Hey, that's some great benefits right there, opinion.
I do very valuable work as a cast member.
Thank you
I
for your
work
service at Disney, opinion.
on Disney Productions, as you know, that Maddit and whatnot. But yeah, Disney.
I know, bro. Trust me, I'm the camera guy.
Oh no. So what else do you use the camera for?
Guy.
Oh no.
But anyways, yeah. So we were talking about Disney. Good stock, bad stock.
Wait, how long are you gonna?
Avatar movie?
What about
Okay,
Disney?
guys.
How
I
long are you
haven't seen
gonna
Avatar yet.
I
Keep
saw
the
it. It's
call
pretty
going.
good. I liked it.
Oh man, so many conversations. Okay, hold on. So, Avatar movie, it's pretty long, but it's pretty good.
No, I mean, yeah, it's 3 hours and some change, but the thing is, like, it flies by so fast, dude, you don't even realize it. I mean, I enjoyed it. My girlfriend and I did because we were fans of the first one. So
fair enough. I haven't seen it yet. I'm very excited to go see it though.
the visuals are a lot better than the first one. I can tell you that.
Danny, how long are you gonna have this conversation lasting? This Reddit talk. Tell me.
It's probably gonna wrap it up in the next like couple minutes.
Okay, then text me on Discord. We have work to do.
Yes, we got it. Back to telling people to forget about GameStop.
Someone say GameStop to the moon.
No. Oh, he left.
The Reddit police showed up, man.
Simple came in here and put us on a timeout and said we have 5 minutes left, guys.
All right. Well, let's quickly recap through plays people are in or looking to take on today, and then maybe we'll wrap up in like a minute or two.
I'm still holding Grinder, Mullen. I'm gonna go ahead and play that Madrigal puts 6 months out, and I am playing that energy one that I spoke with. Okay, helicopter.
I closed out my Tesla March 133 and 3 repeating puts for 46% profit. I ended up not being profitable on my Apple puts yet, but you know, who knows what's gonna happen. I opened up some strangles for the Russell Index that closes in December, so that's pretty much it. And then I held on to some shares of AT&T and Energy Transfer.
All right. Well, looks like those are some pretty good plays. It's been a good talk so far. I guess it's fair to say we'll see you all tomorrow. Unless, I mean, the our
Big
resident
bet,
pharmacist gets caught. Oh, yep. What?
Have a great day, guys. Kill it. Talk to y'all later if you guys
look.
join any of the other talks.
Y'all be
Yes,
easy,
sir.
easy lemon squeezy.
Yeah.
if you guys want to continue talking though, we've got the Discord chat, so hop in there and get access to the voice chat. Always happy to there's some fun conversations that happen there.
Yeah. Look,
all right.
Marcus dipping.
Bet. Appreciate
Search
opinion.
like Illuminati or something.
Am I the Illuminati? Well, let me explain this in song. It goes a little